the UAlbany Great Danes this afternoon from Wildcat Stadium. And as we get set for this one, we'll welcome you upstairs inside the broadcast booth, where I'm happy to be joined by former UNH captain Brian Espinette. I'm Cameron Beal. And Brian, this one is truly going to be a matchup of the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object, as New Hampshire's offense and UAlbany's defense are two of the highest ranking groups in the country.
That's right. You got a great pass rush coming from Jukaj. Brosmer going to have to get the ball out quick today. He usually does that anyways, but I think that's the emphasis going into this week, is get the ball out quick for sure.
Absolutely. Brosmer and Jukaj have been the leaders for this group, and let's take a look at those two guys, as there are key players to watch in this one. Anton Jukaj for UAlbany is leading the nation, Brian, with 9 sacks in the country.
Yeah, it's going to be, like I said, just get the ball out quick. And I think Coach offensive coordinator Brian Scott's going to look to attack him in the run game, make him shed blocks, tire him out, because when the third, fourth quarter come along, you want to make sure that he has some wear and tear on his body and that he's mitigating that pass rush all game.
And on the other side for the New Hampshire Wildcats, quarterback Max Brosmer, 317.6 passing yards per game, is second most in all the land.
Yeah, he's going to look to expand upon that today. You know, Dylan's going to get in there. They're not sure if he's going to be able to go full game 100% for a full quarter, but someone else is going to have to step up. Look for Logan Tomlinson to make an impact early and double down in the end zone a couple times today.
Let's take a look at the head coaches in this one on the road sideline. Across the way, it's Greg Gattuso in his 10th season with the UAlbany Great Danes, an all-time record of 42 and 59 in the purple and gold. His career record 139 and 91 on the home sideline. You know the name. It's Rick Santos, former quarterback of the New Hampshire Wildcats in his second season as the head coach. 16 and 11, the all-time record for him, of course, coming off the 8-3 regular season a year ago. Brian, we're set to kick off in this one. What are any lasting thoughts as we head into this one? New Hampshire came in with a lot of expectations coming into the season. Skidding as of late. Albany's been one of the great risers in the conference this season, ranked, I think, 11th coming into the season.
Yeah, Cam, I think they're just going to look to double down on special teams, too. They know what they have to do offensively and defensively. If they can keep making plays, get the ball back on special teams, I think they're going to be in good shape today. Look for them to attack that ball.
And away we go on homecoming Saturday. A fair catch for the UAlbany Great Danes as they're going to get started on offense here. And Brian, their offense led by sophomore quarterback Reese Poffenbarger. He was a big name coming into the season, the reigning CAA Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was a freshman All-American a season ago. Hasn't quite lived up to the numbers to this point in the season, but of course, let's get to Jem first, the Dungeon Dog, a beautiful first pickup on the day. But Reese Poffenbarger was dynamite last season, one of the more athletic quarterbacks you'll see in the conference. Hasn't quite lived up to that in his sophomore season.
Yeah, he's going to look to get it going here, keep the win streak to 4-2, look to get to 5-2 today.
Poffenbarger takes a shotgun snap, looking left, fires over the middle to the tight end. Brought to a stop is Carter Moses on the catch, the freshman tight end for UAlbany.
Look for them to chip away and take less shots early on. They're going to want to see if UNH came to tackle. That was a big point of emphasis during practice this week, is just get the guy out of the ground, let the play another down. Expect them to come up and rally tackle early here.
And Coach Santos kept saying all week, all the players kept saying it, back to the fundamentals. Tackling has been one of the weaknesses on defense to this point. They gave up 54 points to Towson 2 weeks ago before the bye. Griffin Woodell gets the handoff on the fake, scampers for a first down, the first of the day. And Brian, Griffin Woodell, he's an interesting story. He came in as a walk-on over the summer, earned a scholarship, was the third back, and has, week by week kind of taken the load from those other two guys, Faisal Aiden and Nate Larkins, where he's now kind of the featured back there in Albany.
Yep, you love to see guys that come in and take a team by storm. There's nothing political about it. They earned all those snaps, especially guys who are lower on the depth chart. You love to see them getting and making plays.
1st and 10 from the 40. The 2x2 set turns to a 3x1 with Carter Moses in motion to the right. Poffenbarger on the snap, fakes the give. Quick out to his right, quickly falls to his knee. No need for a tackle there. Marquise Dietz on the catch for the Danes.
There it is, Cam. They're going to make him tackle. Watch a lot of screen game. Watch some counter. They're going to try and play some bully ball and try and do some sneaky stuff out wide. Make the Cats come up and tackle early is going to be a point of emphasis for their offense.
Marquise Dietz on the catch. That was 19th reception on the season, giving the team lead. He's got a pair of touchdowns to his credit this season as well. No gain on that last one. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 40.
Going a too high look.
Poffenbarger back to pass, looking right, scanning the middle, nowhere to go, but plenty of time. No rush from New Hampshire over the outstretched arms of Julian Hicks.
It's great coverage in the back end. Oxidine covering that crossing route. He's barking at the end of the play. You love watching him. You know when he covers someone well because he's usually barking him after the play, but that's all of his hard work and coming back from an injury. And you love to see him getting vocal early. You want to see more of a pass rush on that play. They got to get these guys. They got to get Flex. They got to get JoJo going here, and hopefully get the sack numbers up today. They're going to look to have a heavy day today.
Yeah, to your point, Dylan Ruiz just 1 sack on the season. Josiah Silver just a half sack to his credit through the first 6 games. Those two were dynamite a season ago. Poffenbarger, here comes the pressure, and Dylan Ruiz in on the stop. Josiah Silver was in there too, and a celebration from Flex to get New Hampshire off the field.
Ask and you shall receive.
Take another look here, just hot off the edge, and that's what we saw so often a season ago from Ruiz and Silver, and for the last couple of seasons for Silver. It's great to see those guys get involved early.
And to my point too, Cam, these guys can go off for 3-4 sacks in a game. They shouldn't worry too much about their numbers, just worry about getting consistent pressure on the quarterback.
Dylan Laube calls for the fair catch at the 35-yard line, and some extra hand fighting after the play. And a pair of players down there on the field, they'll separate and go their separate ways as we welcome the New Hampshire offense onto the field. And as we said pregame, Brian, one of the most dynamic groups in the country. For as good as the UNH defense has been the last couple of years, and maybe a little disappointing through the first half of this season, the offense has made up for it in full. With Max Brosmer second in the nation in passing yards per game, top 5 in just about every quarterback stat you could ask, and then Dylan Laube, of course, does it all.
Yeah, they need to capitalize. They've been great numerically. They just got to find ways to take care of the ball like they've been doing, get their offense off the field and just chip away, move the chains.
Brosmer had his eye on the tight end Lepkowski before opting for Joey Corcoran, a gain of about 7. Looks like a generous spot. I thought it was more 6. But Joey Corcoran, a guy who they really got going last time out. He had 5 receptions, 63 yards against Towson 2 weeks ago. A bit of a slow start for Corcoran after a breakout season a year ago, but he seems to be getting back to form.
Yeah, you want to see more out of Joe in his releases, in his stem. He does a great job of all that naturally. You want to see him switch it up at times and kind of innovate in some of his routes. He does a lot of stuff great. He has great ball skills, but switching it up and keeping the defender on his toes is something that Joe's going to want to continue to just keep building on as he gets in the better flow of the season here.
Brosmer misfired to Logan Tomlinson, the Wesleyan transfer out to his left on that one, and will bring up a 3rd and 3 after the rare miscue from Brosmer. 3 receivers out to the left, 1 near side. Laube in the backfield. Brosmer back to pass, fires quickly, hits a receiver for a first down across the 50. Caleb Burke on the catch, his 6th of the season.
He could be that consistent guy, Cam, Caleb Burke. He can be that consistent guy like an Edelman in there. It's just, finding that consistency, finding that, the level that you have to go to each week, no matter what your preparation is, just feeling that flow within the game, and then Caleb saying to himself, where no safety, no corner is going to guard him, and just feeling that way before every time he runs a route. That's going to be key for him.
Compact formation for New Hampshire. Laube in the backfield. They'll fake the give to him. Brosmer, 3-step drop, trying to avoid the rush and just has to flutter that one out of bounds. Did get back to the line of scrimmage. I guess they'll rule he was outside the tackle box on that one. There wasn't really a receiver in the area.
Yeah, you love to see number 5, one of the corners. He's walking back with Caleb Burke. I'm sure they're whispering great things to each other and not talking any nonsense. But that's the Albany way. They're going to get in your face and challenge you on each play.
The senior cornerback Billy Hackett for Albany, a guy Rick Santos highlighted as the other guy, the man-to-man guy, Amir Hall, they kind of put on the island. That's number 1, top of your screen on the far side. Twins to the left, they'll bring a man in motion. Corcoran near side of your screen. Brosmer, once again, second guesses the throw, sticks it to Corcoran on the hashes, and he'll get a few extra on that one to bring up a 3rd and short.
Good job by Joe shaving at the top of the route. You can't stand there in the zone because the defender's going to creep up on you. You got to continue to walk back to the quarterback. It's a good job protecting that throw.
And that's something Corcoran and the tight end Kyle Lepkowski do so well. They play so well against the zone. Lepkowski is not the fastest guy in the world, but he'll certainly find the open spot in his zone, and that's what makes those 2 guys so comforting for Brosmer back there. They're really consistent guys for Brosmer.
Safe
the last
targets.
year and a half, yeah.
Yes, sir. Logan one-on-one, bottom of your screen.
Tomlinson, the Wesleyan transfer, has been dynamite since coming into Durham. Brosmer initially looking that way, looking for a deep ball down the left sideline, comes down with it. Caleb Burke inside the 10.
Big point of emphasis for Caleb in the offseason is going to attack the ball. There was a couple times last year, let the ball come to him. Defender was able to bat it away. That's a great job there. Going to have a great look at it. Did the late hands drill. Defender can't see it. Great job by Caleb.
Here comes New Hampshire on the hurry up. They're going to mark him at the 8-yard line. Brosmer in shotgun, trips to his right. Fake the give to Lauby. Quickly on the slant, and they'll stop him just short inside the 2, maybe the 1.
Cam, we were just talking about it. He's finding the way to demand the ball just by his body language. The energy, the ball's going to find energy, and that's the point Caleb's making right now. 3 receptions so far. Look for him to have a huge day right here. Probably going to hand it off to Dill. Sneak it in.
Brosmer in the shotgun. Ball at the 1. Fake the handoff to Dylan. Brosmer takes it himself in for the touchdown.
Great call by OC Brian Scott. Everyone's keying Dill right there. Brosmer knows it, pulls it for an easy score.
It really has become one of the greatest strengths of Brosmer's game since he came here as a freshman. I believe it was 2019 as Ron for the extra point. Brosmer the holder. He's gotten much more athletic as he's recovered from a pair of knee injuries. They do a great job on that read option with Dylan. Dylan, of course, such a threat where it makes it such an effective play, and Brosmer has gotten some big plays on that one himself.
I mean, he would call himself Lamar Jackson, especially after Dartmouth last year. He pulled it and ran.
Dylan, if there's nothing you can do about it, it's fine. But when your mic opens up, I cannot hear anything else. Okay, no worries. I just no. Okay, yeah, no worries. Sounds good. Back here at Wildcat Stadium, New Hampshire on the board first on their homecoming Saturday, a 7-0 lead following an 8-play, 65-yard drive, which ended with a run from Max Brosmer in for the touchdown, and Wildcats back again to kick here. And Brian, what'd you like from New Hampshire on that opening drive? We saw a lot of Caleb Burke on that one. He seems to be a guy who's coming alive.
Yeah, and especially when Dill Lobby's not 100%, you need someone to step up. I think it's going to be the Brosmer show today, and hopefully it becomes the Caleb Burke show too. He needs to have that breakout game where, he's getting 10 catches for 150 and a score. I think that he can do that today, and he set the tone early on that first drive. So look for it to be the Brosmer show. Hopefully we get Caleb Burke involved in that too.
Yeah, Caleb Burke was a guy who took over for Sean Coyne as that slot receiver a year ago. Sean, a guy who got a look from the Kansas City Chiefs during their rookie mini camp, and it's really been seamless, the transition between those two guys. Burke had a couple of touchdown grabs a season ago. Certainly familiarized himself with the moment and is really taking advantage of it here. As Albany's back for their second drive of the day. Poffenbarger and company with a 2x2 set and a running back joining him in the backfield. They'll give it on first down and a quick tackle behind the line of scrimmage from New Hampshire. As the front has looked dangerous today. More what we're used to seeing around here in Durham.
Zach Aaron, there's all the talk about Josiah and flex. You love to see the 97 Zach Aaron getting in there. You need that third guy in that pass rush, and if they can get him going, because he has the same skill level, arguably. He just needs to do it more consistently. He was on the field. Love to see it there.
Aaron, the backup defensive end behind Dylan Ruiz, a product of Bedford, New Hampshire. Griffin Waddell in motion. He'll take the handoff. Quick hit by Joey Eichmann to bring him down for another short gain, and the New Hampshire defense doesn't look like they're going to allow much on the ground, at least early on today.
Joey's flying. Joey Ikes.
Joe Eichmann, one of the best tacklers on the team, 36 to his credit, only behind Ryan Toscano, another Bedford, New Hampshire native. Joe Eichmann was a guy he wasn't quite sure he was going to come back this season, had some thinking to do over the spring, wasn't with the team during that period, but still worked out, and the team is happy he's back, and they have a really veteran defensive backfield now.
Joe would reach out during the offseason, and you kind of ask my process during the 2022 offseason whether or not he was going to come back. And when he was deciding, it was pretty obvious that he wasn't sure, but he knew he was going to come back, and it's great to see him come back and be one of the best players on the defense. And I told him too when I took my gap semester, spring 2022, that I wasn't sure. I was sure I was coming back the whole time. There was never a second I wasn't coming back. Just needed to get away. But great to see him leading this defense that needs him right here.
Reese Poffenbarger, again, like I said off the top, one of the more athletic quarterbacks in the conference, and you saw it there, rolled out to his left, and that was something that Rick Santos said over the week. He said, a lot of quarterbacks are good rolling to the right. There aren't that many right-handed quarterbacks as good rolling to his left as Reese Poffenbarger, as he takes the shotgun snap, fakes the give, rolls to his right this time, up the middle to his tight end, Ian Renninger, for a gain of a couple. We'll bring up a third and about 4. First quarter about halfway gone in this one. New Hampshire 7-0 lead on Cameron Beal. Happy to be joined by former UNH wide receiver and captain Brian Espinette. Longtime UNH wide receiver Brian Espinette.
Long time. Usually you walk out of 6 years of school, they call you a doctor. MBA will suffice though.
Two tight ends in motion for Albany. It's Renninger and Moses. They'll give it to Waddell on third down. Barely makes it past the sticks and stumbles up to the 50.
You see what they're doing, Cam. They're not going to take a ton of shots. Oxidine, Palm, they're sitting in that too high safety look. They're going to make him. They're going to make him chip away, and hopefully they can punch one out. But Albany knows that too. They're not going to take a bunch of huge shots during this game, especially when the criticism coming down on the pass rush of UNH. They know that's going to be amplified. Look for them to continue to chip away here.
New Hampshire with a bit of a hockey line change on the defensive front. They bring the ones back in with Ruiz, Silver, Politano, and Capongo. Marquise Dietz, the motion man for Albany. Fakes the give on first down. Nowhere to go. Josiah Silver in pursuit. Still nowhere to go, and picked off by New Hampshire. Noah Palm on the interception. Brings it back to about the original line of scrimmage, and New Hampshire's taken back over.
What an undercut by Noah. He saw that the whole way. He baited Poffenbarger into throwing that ball, undercut it last second, run into the track. Ball's in the air, yep. They're sniping that. They worked on that celly during the week. Randall Harris probably started it. Attaboy Noah Palm. Thought he was going to run it back like JMU.
And we talk about, the New Hampshire defensive ends. The sack numbers aren't quite there compared to what they had a season ago. And the defensive backfield, when I talked to Rick Santos before the year, you remember that defensive backfield 5 years ago maybe. Evan Horn, Pop Bush, Pop Lacey, Prince Smith Jr., really dynamic defensive backfield. And Santos told me he thought this group was as talented as that one was, certainly as veteran as that one is, with Oxendine and Harris and guys like that in the backfield, and they're showing it today. Brosmer out to his right. Fluttered that one over, Lobby said, but back to what I was saying, again, the numbers haven't quite been there, to be frank, for New Hampshire through the first 6 games on defense, but it feels like the bye week has been a turning point for these guys.
Yep, and they've been in their ear the whole time. They know they need to turn it on, and you alluded to the 2019 secondary that I call probably the best definitely the best secondary that we had since I was here. You mentioned Prince Smith, the best corner I easily went against, whether it was another team or our team. he was an iron sharpen iron guy and the head of the best secondary probably in the last 10 years for the Cats.
Corcoran and Tomlinson, the receivers at the bottom of the formation. Again, fake to give to Lobby. Brosmer pulls it and hits Tomlinson outside the numbers. It looks like, are they going to mark him down on that initial wrap-up? He might have been on top of the defender. Mark him around the 36-yard line. Nonetheless, a first down for New Hampshire.
You see players working on that now as they get wrapped up and spin. They're working to keep their hand down. You just saw Logan do it. He put his hand down before he went down, giving him the opportunity to roll. You see McCaffrey do it all the time for the 49ers.
New Hampshire spreads things out. Back to Tomlinson, and he nearly got away with it again as the defender, Amir Hall, kind of tackled him on top of himself.
That's so simple that it doesn't get talked about enough, too. You look what we're doing with Caleb Burke. You get 3 receptions on the first drive. You get Corcoran going early. You get Logan going here. All it takes is 2 plays, 27 seconds on the clock to give all your receivers every ounce of confidence. Just 2 plays, that's all it takes, and now they're set for the game. Look for them to take a shot here.
New Hampshire at the 30, 3 receivers to the left. They'll bring Tomlinson in motion, tight to the line of scrimmage on the near side. Albany rushes forward. Brosmer with plenty of time, steps up. Had the pressure coming from A.J. Simon, that other dynamic defensive end for the Great Danes that we haven't really spoken too much about. We talk about Anton Junkaj on the other side, number 4, leading the nation with 9 sacks. A.J. Simon's got 7 to his credit. That's second most on the team and third most in the country.
O-line's doing a great job right now. Brosmer hasn't had much in his face. He's been able to roll out, kind of set the pace on his own.
Hampshire to replace a couple of names on the O-line this season, but for the most part, a similar group that they had a season ago, which was so helpful to the growth of Brosmer in the offense. New Hampshire again from the 30, 3rd and 4. Brosmer looking left, fires it to DJ Lincolns. Looks like he lost his footing at the top of his route. Brosmer just a little too high on the throw.
Go for territory, they're staying on the field.
The offense out there on the 4th and 4 from the 30. They are just on the edge of field goal range, maybe a little long for Nick Maisie. His career long is 47, so this would match that, but the offense will stay on the field. They'll deploy Lepkowski, Corcoran, and Burke at the top of the screen. Tomlinson to the bottom with the do-it-all man Dylan Labby in the backfield. Burke in motion. Brosmer looking his direction. Again, just misfired to Caleb Burke, a little high on the throw. And we'll be back after this from Durham, New Hampshire, with the Wildcats leading the Danes 7-0. 4.5 to play here in the first.
We're the team behind your team and your school. We're also the team our customers rely on. Wherever things are getting done, powered up, and made better with Caterpillar equipment in the Northeast, you'll find Milton Cat, the team prepared for every challenge. Milton Cat, always ready.
At UNH, we go faster, farther, higher. Because she did. We didn't just get here. She did it for me. I do it for her. They did it for us. We do it for them. Celebrating 50 years and counting of Title IX and every Wildcat who leads the way.
The rivalry just got hotter. Buffalo Wild Wings is the proud sponsor of the UNH versus Maine border battle. All year long, visit unhwildcats.com/border battle for rivalry updates and special offers. When the Cats win, we all win on this side of the border. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings
taking over after a 4th and 4 unsuccessful try from New Hampshire after they kept the offense on the field in UAlbany. We'll be back taking over at the 30-yard line. I'm Cameron Beal. Happy to be joined by Brian S. Burnett. And Brian, let's go back to that 4th and 4 play from New Hampshire. Like I said, kind of right on the edge of Nick Mazey's range. The offense looks good early on, and the defense maybe even looks even better. So turning the ball over there at the 30, kind of like a de facto punt. They're going to take over in their own end for UAlbany, a decision you probably don't really second guess for New Hampshire despite the outcome.
No, I like the call. They got Caleb open on that. Max just threw it over his head a little bit, but that's something that he can catch and run. Look for them to come back to that.
Rosemary misfired on a couple of throws today. Poffenbarger in shotgun with Faisal Aiden alongside, and we'll get a false start here that'll back the offense up 5 yards.
Just got a text from Sean Coyne, and he said, "You sound so sophisticated." Appreciate it, pal.
He's made a career change.
I'm not going to say Caleb looks better than you, but he's 3 1/4. I don't recall you ever doing that. Is that sophisticated?
It looks like you could still be out there catching balls like I saw you pregame. The sideline catches, you were doing it all out there.
I was cooking Randall, just like old times for warm-ups.
Poffenbarger again in the backfield. Faisal Aiden alongside him. Poffenbarger looking to his left. He'll check down to Aiden. Can't make a defender miss. It's Johnny Collins in on the wrap-up.
I saw Johnny Collins walking to the game. I pulled over and I said, "Hey, you want to ride?" And he goes, yeah. I was like, "You want this one?" Meaning him for the walk. And he goes, "I got it." He was dialed in, walking in pregame. Love to see corners making a tackle. No knee brace for number 7 either. No knee brace for JC. He's full go.
Torn ACL a season ago. Fully healthy now. He's back in here. On 2nd down and 15, no gain on that last play. Poffenbarger again in the shotgun, a 2-by-2 set. Quickly to his right, completes it behind the line of scrimmage, and they're going to run for a few yards. That'll bring up 3rd and manageable here.
Dane Williams pushing out to the flat there. He was aiming for the wrong shoulder. He's got to push inside out. He overcompensated trying to get to the flat too early. You just got to stay his ground, let the defender come in and make the tackle.
Dane Williams, an interesting story. Was a linebacker the last couple of years. Made the transition to safety this offseason. They like what they've seen out of him. One of the more athletic linebackers when he was at that position, and he still kind of spends a lot of the time in the box with that front 7. Bring up 3rd and 6 here for Albany. Snap to Poffenbarger. Here comes the rush. Nearly brought down by Politano, and he's on the move. Spins out of a tackle. That's going to be close. It looks like they're going to give him the 1st down on that one. Neil Politano had him dead to rights.
It collapsed, but now they know they got to finish. They got to get set here quick.
A quick snap. You don't want a second look at that one if you're Albany. Might have been short. Faisal Aiden breaks free for about a gain of 9.
They got to see that hurry-up offense. Neil Politano sitting in his gap. He wasn't ready. He got pushed sideways. Can't take that play off right there.
Talk about the emergence of running back Griffin Woodell for UAlbany. Faisal Aiden is a guy who was kind of the primary back early in the season. He had 19 rushes, 40 yards a few weeks ago at Morgan State. Last week against Towson, just 1 rush for -4 yards. So when I say Griffin Woodell has really taken over the first-team reps at running back, that really is the case. Take the handoff, rolled back to his right, going for a deep shot down the sideline, has him open, comes back to the ball, and he's going to be wrestled down, in for a touchdown. UAlbany draws this thing closer. It's Brevin Easton for the long catch and muscles his way into the end zone.
Is that Caleb Mead on coverage? He saw the quarterback rolling to his left. He thought the receiver was going to run a post. They run a long banana route on the opposite side of the field. He knows the post is coming, but that's a great play design.
Banana route.
Banana route, yeah.
That's called?
Smash route, banana route.
Understood.
I had the same receivers coach for 5 years, Mike Frizzoco, so I know everything one way.
Sure.
And then Barnett came in, and I forget what he tried calling a banana route. But I was like, it's a banana route.
Yeah, you made the decision. UAlbany's extra point is good to tie this one up. 2:11 play here in the first quarter, and we'll take another look at this one. Poffenbarger left a little to be desired on the throw, but like we said, the busted coverage, Caleb Mead allowed the space for Brevin Easton to come back to the ball and then just out-muscled them into the end zone.
That was a nuke of a throw, too, right on the money. Had to come back for a little bit, but great job staying on the feet, muscling in for the touchdown.
Yeah, we see why Poffenbarger garnered so much attention in the offseason. He was a Jerry Rice Award runner-up a season ago for the best freshman in all the FCS. And he's an Old Dominion transfer. Didn't quite get the playing time there. Moved to Albany a season ago, and you see he's one of the more athletic quarterbacks in the country. We saw it there, the way he got out of that rush from Neil Politano for the first down, and then you see the big arm on him too.
Yeah, that's all you need to really tell with a QB, especially going up against this pass rush, is if the rush is coming, can you avoid it, or you're just going to take the sack? Not only did he not take the sack, he got 7 yards out of the play. So obviously he's ready to play, and then he followed up with a nuke of a throw for 30 yards.
Dylan Laube, the deep man for New Hampshire. We haven't seen him featured too much offensively, but you know, he might be even more dangerous in the kicking game, so don't quite rule out the production from Laube just yet. And they're going to avoid him on this one. Just a squib kick down the field, picked up at the 20, across the 30, and still some decent starting field position for New Hampshire up to the 39.
Great job by Miles. You know, Dylan's going to get a majority of the carries, but his way to contribute until he gets the keys to the Porsche, as I say, getting that RB1 spot, is going to be getting the ball in special teams and making some noise there. Once he takes over the reign for Dylan next year, he'll be a player to watch. But for now, it's, you know, do what you can on special teams, do what you can with the minimal snaps that you're getting. Watch Dill take everything you can from him, and you love to see him making a play there, making an impact early.
You might not get, you know, the same amount of reps with Dylan Laube ahead of you on the depth chart, but there's nobody better in the country to observe and just watch the way they operate.
Yep.
Laube, fake the handoff once again. Brosmer will take it himself across the 40 for a gain of about 3. New Hampshire make some changes at the wide receiver position. They'll bring in DJ Lincolns and Kyle Lepkowski into the huddle. DJ Lincolns has really been one of the more reliable targets for Brosmer this season, coming off a dynamic freshman campaign a season ago with that game-winning touchdown here against Rhode Island late in the season. Helped you guys clinch a playoff berth. Brosmer in shotgun, the receivers spread out wide. Looking to his left, fires for a first down. No, ball jarred out after a big hit. It was Josh Fillion who nearly pulled it in.
Josh knows that's one he's gonna look back on. You're gonna get hit, you might as well catch it anyways, but that was a great play coming down by Amos.
All the cornerback on the other side for UAlbany as they're gonna stop. They're gonna stop this one for potential targeting on cornerback Amir Hall for the Great Danes, leading the team with 3 interceptions this year, 8 passes broken up, and we'll add another one to his credit on that. They're going to take a look at potential targeting. This is the guy Santos said during his press conference on Wednesday. He's that boundary man-to-man island type of guy that they keep on that side of the field. As you see the replay there. Let's take another look, Brian.
No, he reaches with his hands first. That's a bang-bang play. I'd be really surprised if they kept this as a target. Amir Hall was there. We had our first matchup back in 2020, so he's been holding down that boundary spot for a while. I wouldn't worry too much about a targeting call there, especially because he left with his hands. I don't even know why they would bother reviewing this.
It was really just the helmet-to-helmet aspect of it, but he didn't necessarily launch himself or lead with the helmet like you see a lot of guys do when they do review things like this. It was just the fact that it was helmet-to-helmet, I think, garnered a look. As the headsets come off, and we'll see what he has to say. Head referee today, Jeremy D'Angelo. Confirmed no targeting for Amir Hall. He'll stay in the game, and like you said, Brian, just a bang-bang play. Didn't really lead with the helmet, just incidental contact with the helmet.
They review it, and I understand it. There's been so many calls, especially when I've been here, especially guys on our team just getting tossed because someone goes down pretty hard and they end up kicking the defender out of the game. So when they do stuff like that, I have a little, I get nervous because I've seen it happen too many times.
Tomlinson, the motion man on 3rd and 7 from the 41. Brosmer back to pass. Here comes Junkaj. Ball batted out. It's on the ground, picked up. The first look looks like Albany. Here comes the official. And Albany came out of the pile with it. That's Ori Jean Charles, the dynamic grad student on the Albany defense.
Can you plead the case for a pass? Nope. I'm not going to give it to him.
No? Arm's not coming forward enough? Junkaj again on the bull rush.
Gets right under the outside shoulder pad of Mason Davis, throws him on his feet right into Max. What a play.
Really just pushed his own offensive lineman right into him. It's Anton Junkaj, the senior at Port Jervis, New York. Transfer out of Southern Connecticut and Nassau Junior College, leading the nation with 9 sacks coming into the day.
We almost witnessed Matt O'Neill live out his dream in catching the ball and running after the play. You know, you don't want to see him turn it over there, but we would have loved to see Oni at least get a chance. You know, he's not going to get a speeding ticket in a school zone, but
Sean Lehane out to punt on the 4th and 7 as it looks like, oh, high snap. Lehane can't handle it, picks it up, and they're going to call him down at about the 9-yard line, it looks like. And so going back to that fumble, it looks like they ended up giving possession to New Hampshire. And maybe got his head turned around a little late on that one. The snap a little high. Yeah, they might have called that last fumble an incomplete pass, I suppose, Brian.
what's the call here? They're calling it
timeout.
Oh, they called the timeout.
Okay, let's sort out.
Got a break there.
Let's sort out what we've got here. So going back to what we thought was a fumble, it looks like they may have actually called an incomplete pass as New Hampshire came up with the 4th and 7 with the punting unit on the field. So it looks like they may have ruled in favor of New Hampshire in the incomplete pass. And then on that one, the high snap over Sean Lehane's head. But it seems as if New Hampshire got a timeout off before the snap. And after all that, we've still got 4th down, 7 yards to go from the New Hampshire 41-yard.
That's the biggest break I've seen him catch all year. Is that should have been potentially could have been Albany ball in the 41, which turns into a 4th and 7.
New Hampshire doesn't get that timeout off. You know, it's Albany ball at the 9-yard line with the snap going over Lehane's head. He's going to track it down, but nonetheless, let's start this over.
The way football works too is that I wouldn't be surprised if they got the ball back here some way, somehow. Just the way this game's going so far.
New Hampshire back to punt. Give the ball back to Albany with the game tied at 7. Tom Lehane receives the snap, gets it away. A high booming kick. Called for a fair catch. UAlbany will take over from their own 19-yard line. UAlbany, the offense hasn't quite gotten going yet. They had the one big play. They had the scramble from Poffenbarger for the first down on their last drive, and then the big play over the top to Brevin Easton for the score. If you're UAlbany, what's something you're looking at here? How do you just get things moving, whether it be the rushing game or the short, quick game? What do you do if you're UAlbany to just get a little momentum?
I think you keep running the ball, just make him come up and tackle, and then, like we saw before in the touchdown, you fake him out with a little play action, and you're able to take the shot. Look for them to just keep doing what they've been doing offensively so far.
Fake the handoff to Woodell. They'll get it out wide. He has the boundary and shoved out of bounds by New Hampshire. Close to a first down. Looks like it's right at the marker. And they'll give it to him. First down, Albany.
Third drive and first drive are the same. Get the ball out wide, make the safety sprint down tackle, use your skill, break some tackles, gain some extra yards. They're trying to stay away from the edges and running off tackle.
Poffenbarger with Rudell to his right. Again, pulls the ball on the handoff. Dropped by Ian Renninger, the tight end. Had some yards up ahead, maybe turned his head a little too soon.
A lot of the plays that Albany and New Hampshire are pretty similar, just flow action and coming back to flow action left, come back to the right, get the tight end in the flats. A lot of the stuff you see UNH do with Lepkowski and get him short yardage passes and run for extra yards after the catch. It's been pretty similar offenses in terms of style and swagger from these two teams.
After the second look at that throw, it looks like Poffenbarger maybe left it a little behind him. Maybe more on the hands of the quarterback than the tight end there. 2nd and 10 for Albany. Give to Woodell. Stopped quickly by Noah Stansbury. Gain of about 1.
Great job shedding that block by Noah. Coming in, attacking the outside hip. He knows too, they're coached to just go in. If you're the first guy, take your shot. And if you miss him while you take your shot, you're you're making the ball carry redirect, given time for the troops to come in and wrap up. That's a great job by Noah right there.
We get a timeout on the field, and we'll take a timeout with them here. It's homecoming Saturday from Durham, New Hampshire. End of the first quarter, New Hampshire and Albany tied at 7 here. Sounds good. The fans are ready to get after it here in Durham on a homecoming Saturday in the seacoast of New Hampshire. They're trying to help the defense out here on a 3rd and 10, start of the second quarter. Game tied at 7. I'm Cameron Beal, joined by Brian Espinette. Twins to each side for Albany. Fake the give. Poffenbarger unloads to the right. Brevin Easton broken up by Randall Harris.
I don't know why teams keep throwing it at him, especially on an access go route. That's where he's at his best, Randall. He's been covering that pass for years. They got to know that on tape, especially on a 3rd down. That's not your best option going against Randall. He's earned that respect, especially on 3rd down, for the ball to go somewhere else.
Randall maybe ran the route better than Brevin did. Randall's got 1 pick on the season, 7 to his credit in his career. Force UAlbany to punt. Here comes the pressure. Nearly got a hand on that one. Lauby back to receive. Heels on the 12. Didn't call for the fair catch. Quickly brought down by Albany. New Hampshire with some unfavorable field position to start this one.
You can see he's not right now. He knows to probably fair catch that, but I think he might have been trying to do too much right there, which ended up being a big hit on him. But I think right there, take the fair catch. Take that hit off your body.
Banged up 2 weeks ago, the last game against Towson, the 54-51 overtime loss for New Hampshire. A bit of a stunner here in Durham. Nobody really expected that. New Hampshire, the big drop in the rankings, down to 24 in the coaches poll. They received some votes in the stats perform poll. Brosmer in the offense will set up at the 16. 2 receivers to the left, Lauby in the backfield. They give it to him. Might be his first rush on the day, in fact, as we've seen that play a handful of times by him, but Max has really pulled it out almost every time so far.
I think there's a reason for that, too.
It was Lauby's first rush attempt on the day, seeming like a bit of a decoy as we go on and on here into the second quarter.
But that's still, though, could he have sat out today? Yeah, but that's the Viking in him. He's not gonna not play unless he truly can. So that's the captain in him, and he'll get going here in a little bit.
Corcoran, the motion man. Brosmer looking that direction. Climbs the pocket, gets the throw off.
Ooh.
High-low hit on Kyle Lepkowski. It'll bring him a few yards short of the sticks.
How many fingers am I holding up, Kyle?
3rd down and about 2 from the 24-yard line for New Hampshire. They need this one after scoring on their opening drive of the game and stalling out the last few. New Hampshire converting 44% of their third downs to this point. It's 5th in the CAA. Albany only showing 3 down linemen. They'll rush 4, bringing Ori Jean-Charles. Brosmer fired out to the left, a little high on the throw. We've seen it a handful of times from Brosmer today. Lincoln's was the intended target.
That's a good bid by DJ, but if there's a close-up here, you can see him. He steps outside of his framework a little bit, so the corner is able to see him. He's able to redirect that route, push him outside, make it a less likely throw. Thought he was going to toe tap it at the end there. It's a good effort, but he's got to stay inside his framework, let him explode outside that route.
There's Bill Hackett again on the coverage for Albany, New Hampshire now. Just 2 of 5 on 3rd downs on offense today.
That would have been a point by Coach Stephen Barnett, who's actually texting me right now as well. He would have been on DJ for that. Just stay inside his framework.
Short punt from Sean Lehane. New Hampshire has to reach up and grab that one just to save some field position, and we'll take a break here with a few minutes gone in the 2nd quarter. New Hampshire and Albany tied from Durham. .15 to play in the 2nd quarter. UAlbany's going to take over on the punt from New Hampshire during the break. They did call holding on UAlbany. That'll back them up 10 yards. They'll start from the 42-yard line, and Bryan, New Hampshire, went down on their opening drive, scored a touchdown since then. Turnover on downs and a pair of punts. What's kind of going, from your point of view, what's got New Hampshire's offense stalling right now after such a quick start?
I think when you get that good of a start, it was 8 plays, 65 yards. Yep. When you get that good of a start, you want to come out the next drive, and you think it's going to be that easy. They're getting whatever they want. They just got to throw and catch right now. Brosmer knows it too. He's just missing guys by a hair right now. But if they were able to convert that 4th and 4 on the 2nd drive, this game would be a whole lot different. They know they're a foot away on a couple throws from being up a lot to a little. So look for them to just keep airing the ball out and try and get a big lead before the half.
Brosmer's missed high on a handful of throws, and Albany, like I said, will take over from their own 42-yard line. Griffin Woodell in the backfield with Reese Poffenbarger. Will give it to Woodell. The walk-on freshman evades Josiah Silver into the 2nd level and taken down by Caleb Mead. Woodell, you know, you hate to compare anyone to Dylan Lauby, but the style in which Woodell plays, you can see some comparisons. Rick Santos even admitted it on the coaches call this past Monday with the conference. You know, the way he moves laterally and affects the game in different ways. You see the comparison between Woodell and Laubie.
Yeah, the way they run downhill and just the way they run relentlessly is something definitely to be compared. Obviously, different players in a lot of ways, but definitely some similarities showing up.
Poffenbarger, another shot down the left sideline. He was looking for Julian Hicks, but overshot him. Randall Harris again in on the coverage, was hip to hip with Hicks.
Yeah, it's all in the warm-ups me and Randall were doing pregame. You could argue that the 2 times they've thrown to Randall would be touchdowns if we weren't down there getting right pregame.
Yeah.
So happy to contribute where we can.
You've got your fingerprints all over this one, Brian. You're down on the field, you're up here, giving a beautiful insight on what you're seeing, as well as your own warm-ups.
Yeah.
Your fingerprints are all over this one.
Heat rises, and I'm running 40-yard dashes for the game, and I'm on the 4th floor.
3rd and 5 for Albany. Fake to give to Woodell. Poffenbarger up the middle, stood up at the 49-yard line, a yard short. New Hampshire is going to bring up a 4th down. The initial spot looks a yard short, and that's what it'll be. It'll bring up a 4th and 1. Joe Eichmann again making an impact. The safety out of Merrimack, New Hampshire, was in on the stop there. They'll keep the offense on the field for the 4th and 1.
Look for them to swing it outside. Make the safeties coming down, tackle just like they've been doing all game.
Bring the tight end in motion. A whistle before the snap. It looks like it's going to be a timeout for New Hampshire. They burned their 2nd timeout of the first half. They didn't quite like the look they had out there, Brian.
I think they wanted to get more guys in the box. They were thinking kind of what I was thinking, I would hope, that they're going to try and swing it outside, make the safeties come down and tackle, but I think they could tell they're going to go inside run there.
With about 12 minutes to play here in the 2nd quarter, let's take a look back at how we got here. A long pass here in the game tied up 7-7. You see here from a touchdown. Monitor's not working. Albany tied things up here. That's how we find ourselves 7-7 just a few moments into the 2nd quarter, and we'll bring up 4th and 1 for Albany back on the field following the New Hampshire timeout to get the right look and personnel on the field. The initial look is Albany, 1 receiver split to either side, a tight end to the left, and Woodell in the backfield. They bring him in motion to the other side, and Dylan Ruiz jumped. They're going to get New Hampshire here, and that one's a killer, Brian.
They're trying to point it off like it was the offensive line. I think they're going to net. Yep, they're going to get flex right there. Can't give them any freebies, especially on 4th down.
1st down for UAlbany, and again, all that for all that, Brian. We saw it in the sequence a few drives ago with the New Hampshire punt and 4th down and the fumble and all that. And New Hampshire calls the timeout to get the right look on the field, and a penalty negates it all. 1st down for UAlbany from the New Hampshire 44-yard line. Poffenbarger 7 of 12 on the day. 83 yards to his credit and a touchdown pass. Here comes the rush, gets out of it to his left, directing traffic, and just has to sail that one into his own bench.
That's great coverage. Great coverage in the back end. He looked at Randall again, and he's on an island out there, Randall Harris, and he's not giving any ground. He's running the routes for the receivers right now, and there's just nothing downfield other than that banana route that we talked about earlier. There's been nothing downfield. Just got to get to the quarterback, get him off his spot, try and poke that ball out.
Common theme we've heard from the New Hampshire secondary is communication. Heard it coming into the Week 1 game at Stonehill, improved communication, still getting burned on some big plays here and there, and we heard it again this week. The communication needs to be better, and it seems like it has gotten better. Misplaced handoff. It looked like Woodell thought he was taking it, Poffenbarger thought he was pulling it, and the two kind of just playing tug of war before they're eventually brought down by themselves. Loss of only about a yard.
I think if we can get a turnover here, 3rd and long, here come Flex, here come JoJo. I think if we can make them throw into a long third and long situation, then get a turnover, get the offense back into it, get the crowd back into it, and really start to pull away. But This is going to be tough. They're going to give him a different look. They're coming out in a too-high look right here. Watch a swing left.
Keith beats the motion man. They'll bring 3 receivers to the left. Offenbarger back. Here comes Silver. Gets it off over the head of Levi Wentz. Joe Eichmann, the man in coverage. Noah Stansbury also in the area, and that'll bring up a 4th and long for UAlbany, and they'll bring the punting team out.
We keep talking about Randall, but his counterpart, Noah Stansbury, this has got to be one of the better duo of corners we've had at UNH in the last couple of years. They were a great tandem last year, but he thought he could sneak by, not throwing at Randall by throwing at Noah, and it doesn't work right there. Complimentary ball.
We talked about the 2-it-all guys on the New Hampshire offense. They really have some of those guys on defense too. Randall with 4 blocked kicks this season, the most in the nation. Noah Stansbury was one of the best TFL guys you guys had last season. Lauby heels on the 5, excuse me. Fakes the fair catch. It'll tumble into the end zone. Stansbury 2 interceptions this season. Harrison's 1. So those 2 looking to get going today. Could be a launching point for those guys.
I don't know if it's known what Dill does pregame, but when we punt the ball to Dylan in the end zone, and the whole entire team runs at him, and then he gives a speech and fires everybody up. It's like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. And I would yell that to him when I was running down there. I'd be like, "Battle the bees, Johnny Snow." There goes Psycho.
I love it. Dylan Lauby split out to the left slot near side of the screen. They'll bring him in motion. Thomason in the backfield, fake to give to him, swing around to Lauby, has the catch and a few extra yards. Muscled down for a gain of about 3 or 4.
Get him going any which way he can.
And this is something we saw early in the season. Not a lot of, between the tackle handoffs for Lauby. It was kind of send everyone one way, send Lauby the other way, just get him in open field.
Well, that's where I bring up the similarities between the 2 offenses, as I alluded to. It's they're trying to attack us on the perimeter outside, bringing a safety over the top of Dylan, but that's where they want to get the ball. Dylan is out wide, make the safeties come down and tackle.
Similar formation for New Hampshire on that one. They opt to go to Joey Corcoran for the first down on the far boundary.
There's the Corcoran move, first down, point.
He's been dynamite on the sidelines the last couple of games. That's where he made his money 2 weeks ago, I should say, against Towson. Brosma consistently hitting him for those first downs.
He's got to separate at the top of the route a little bit better. That catch shouldn't have been as difficult as it was. It's a great catch. He's just got to sink his hits, get more separation at the top.
Fakes a give to Seed. Pass out wide. It's Kyle Lepkowski. Nearly a shoestring tackle. Eventually brought down by Bill Hackett. They'll give him the first down on that one. Big play by Lepkowski.
Similar style again. They're trying to get the tight ends in the flat. Similar body types at the wide position for both Albany and UNH. Caleb got to throw a block there. That's one of those, the guy's not looking, you kind of decleat him and have it be legal.
Lepkowski, Burke, and Corcoran, the 3 at the top of the screen. Rosemar looking up the middle, fires to Tomlinson, broken up by Amir Hall.
Just got to do it. Just got to separate at the top. They're running the routes. They just got to keep sprinting after the cut when they're deciding which direction after they plant. They just got to keep running rather than turn to the quarterback. Because that's what's allowing the defender to catch up. Is when they're looking back at the ball, you automatically slow down. Just got to continue the route process.
Haven't heard much from those 2 star defensive ends for UAlbany today. Junkaj got in on what we thought was a fumble and then ruled the incomplete pass. It's Junkaj on the near side end. Simon not in on this play. The other star D end. Brosma fakes a give. 3-step drop. Plenty of time. Over the middle. Tomlinson nearly batted out, but Tomlinson's going to hold on across the 50.
Great job by Max, sitting in the pocket, allowing Logan to get over there on that delta route across the field. And a great job by the O-line.
Isaac Duffy was the safety that nearly batted that one free, but Tomlinson with the strong hands held on. Once again, 3 receivers to the right. Brosmer directing traffic. Albany rushes 5. Give to Lauby. Evades the first 2 tackles. He has the numbers, and he's out for a first down.
Get him on his feet.
Jean Charles, another one of those tackling machines for Albany in on the stop. They've got a duo linebacker too that doesn't quite rival their defensive ends, but 2 of the best tacklers in all the conference in Jean Charles and Dylan Kelly, the reigning National Defensive Player of the Week, coming off a 23 tackle performance. And Colby Ramshaw over the middle. Welcome to the show, Londonderry, New Hampshire.
Yeah, AJ Simon was FCS Ground Player of the Week last year, or last week. Yeah, they've had dudes in the defense for years, and that's what makes it tough. It's just they know us so well. It's like in the NFL, they play each other twice, but to play a team consistently year after year is pretty similar. They know what we want to do, but they got the dudes on defense to help mitigate that. Cats are marching here.
New Hampshire from the Albany 23. Rosemar, another give to Lauby, or Jean-Charles can't chase him down, and eventually chased out of bounds across the 20. Rosemar and Lauby are really picking their spots well here with the handoff, and when Rosemar wants to keep it and whatnot, they send all the pressure there, make the correct read, give it to Lauby, and bounce it to the outside.
You don't see it on the stat sheet, but the best way he breaks tackles is turning his head and his shoulders, forcing that defender in, and then kicking back out. He just did it twice in that play.
Shot back shoulder to Tomlinson.
No
He's probably going to look for a flag. They won't give him one. The Boo Birds come out from Wildcat Stadium. Rosemar put it on him a little hot, but no flag from the officials. We're up a 3rd and 6 from the 19-yard line. If you're New Hampshire, you got to come out of this drive with points one way or another.
Watch Lepkowski here. Watch him find a soft spot in the zone. They've been sitting in that zone the whole time, and he's been gashing right on the hash. Look for them to come back to 84 if they don't go man here.
84, the closest man on the near side of the line. Rosemar back to the same play. Tomlinson comes up with this time, reaches across, touchdown Wildcats.
There's the guy. Dylan's not 100%. You need someone to get in the end zone early at the wide out position. There's Logan. Came back to the same play. Gonna have a great look at it here. What an effort by Logan Tomlinson.
Exact same play, his 4th touchdown reception on the season. Ties Dylan Lauby for the team lead. The D3 Wesleyan transfer has been an instant hit on Durham.
He's not done either. He wants another touchdown, one or two by the end of the game.
Easy on for the extra point, swings and puts it through. That'll put New Hampshire ahead 14-7. 7:06 to play in the second quarter. And we'll take a break here from Wildcat Stadium, where New Hampshire has just retaken the lead over UAlbany.
The rivalry just got hotter. Buffalo Wild Wings is the proud sponsor of the UNH versus Maine border battle. All year long, visit unhwildcats.com/border battle for rivalry updates and special offers. When the Cats win, we all win on this side of the border. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
We're the team behind your team and your school. We're also the team our customers rely on. Wherever things are getting done, powered up, and made better with Caterpillar equipment in the Northeast, you'll find Milton Cat, the team prepared for every challenge. Milton Cat, always ready.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped me get to the first day at my career, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from my service helped me buy my first home. And I take pride knowing I will be the first to respond if my community ever needs me. To learn more, visit nationalguard.com.
New Hampshire retakes the lead 14-7 off a touchdown catch from Max Brosmer to the transfer Logan Tomlinson, and we'll get a second look at it here. They went back to the exact same play, Brian, that wasn't successful the down before.
I'm not surprised they came back to it. They got such a good look on it. Amir Hall's, for years, he wants to get on the top shoulder. kind of leaving him vulnerable to the back shoulder. They knew that going in. That's why they came back to it 2 plays in a row.
Rosemerge is 14 of 25. Not the greatest completion percentage he's ever seen, but he's already got a $154 through the air, Brian.
I mean, they've already thrown it 25 times, so it's pretty obvious what they're trying to diagnose in the defense. They think they have some mismatches out wide, especially with Dill not being 100%. But, you know, best player goes down, you can still lead by 7 in a game, in a CAA division game. That's always a good sign.
And during the week, Coach Santos said, you know, they haven't really had to lean on the rush despite how good their offensive line has been, but they're capable of it. And today's just another example of them not having to lean on the run and still having weapons all over the field as Albany takes a fair catch. But you see guys like Corcoran, a real possession receiver. Lincoln's, you know, Santos told me, can really play any position you put him in at wide receiver. You got Morisseau, one of the fastest guys in all the conference. And then you add Logan Tomlinson to the mix and Caleb Burke, and you've got weapons all over the field here.
Weapons all over the field, and what really enables the weapons, at least in today and every game they've won thus far, has been the offensive line. Dylan Poirier out at left tackle, he's holding his own. Not the biggest guy at that position, but definitely holding his own, and it helps. And sometimes the best protection too is when Max gets the ball out quick. But he not necessarily hasn't been able to hold. He's been able to hold on to the ball for longer than he's wanted to today.
Poffenbarger joined by Faisal Aiden. He'll fake the give to him. Fires down the hash marks, up the middle, complete to Julian Hicks, and that's a runaway touchdown for Albany on their first play from scrimmage.
Hello.
75-yard score for the Danes. We'll take a look here. Poffenbarger had all the time in the world. Loaded and let it fire.
He throws a beautiful deep ball.
2 touchdown passes. He's been right on the money both times.
And again, a comparison that's a little frowned upon these days, I'd say. But we'll take it back to the college days of this player. Zach Wilson. The escapability and the big arm on him, not the biggest guy in the world. You know, you see the upside of a guy similar to Zach Wilson and Reese Poffenbarger.
I could totally see that, and they were showing videos of Zach Wilson's pro day back before in 2021 when he was getting drafted, of him rolling out left and then throwing back right, just like you saw on the touchdown pass. So definitely could see a comparison there. But what a throw and catch on that long play right there.
Reese Poffenbarger, an ODU transfer. He took a couple of friends with him. The wide receivers, Marquise Dietz and Levi Wentz. Each transfers from Old Dominion along with a handful of other guys on this team. And that's something you don't necessarily see a lot from New Hampshire. Not a ton of transfers on this team. Tomlinson's the big one. But a lot of, you know, homegrown guys who come through the system and are stars by the time they leave.
Yeah, it's been nice to have kind of homegrown. That just helps out with the culture of the team, and fans too. They love local guys. They'll take anybody in, anyone who's willing to work hard and be part of the team. And you know, we've had great success recruiting in Jersey and in New York and Florida, you name it, Virginia, could go on. But what's nice about the way that Coach Mack used to use the transfer portal and is that I call free agency, is that he used it to just plug the gaps within the team. Like if we needed a corner, he'd go out and get Randall Harris. If we needed, you know, DN, we'd go out and get Pierce Devon. We would plug the gaps. But he knows the culture is New England grown, and that's been the culture of from the top down since I've been there, and it's been that way for a long time.
And an interesting change on the kickoff here for New Hampshire. That was not Dylan Laube back to receive. It was Caleb Mead. And so you wonder if they're just trying to get the kickers to actually send a kick back to him. Excuse me, Laube looks like he was on the field, but nonetheless, Mead was the guy near the ball. So you're wondering if you're trying to, you know, get teams to actually kick off to you, which they've stopped doing with Laube as the lone guy back there.
I hate to give Dill more credit than he already gets, because it's rightfully so, but I think he's kind of the reason the ball went out. He's the reason the ball went out of bounds. They don't want to kick to him and make the kicker get out of his comfort zone, kick it right out of bounds, get it on the 35.
Brosmer in the offense back on the field. Like I said, he's got a $154 and a touchdown to his credit so far. Logan Tomlinson leading the way in both catches and yards with 5 and 67 and just 3 rushing attempts on the day. All to Dylan Laube for 18 yards.
Wide out in the backfield. Logan out wide.
It's Tomlinson out to the right. Laube splits out and he can't hit Caleb Burke. Again, just out of reach for the slot wide receiver.
Yeah, again, they just gotta try and separate at the top of the route. They're getting out of their cuts quick, but they just gotta explode out of the cut. shave back to the ball. That's a tough player. That's good coverage in the field. But they really got to separate at the top of the route if they want to win against these corners.
They'll go with their two best. Tomlinson and Corcoran on the near side. Lauby in the backfield once again. Colby Ramshaw, Londonderry native, the motion man. Fake the give. Here comes the pressure. Gets it away to Lepkowski. Has a block, cuts it back inside, and will get a few yards. Cut the yardage about in half. Make it about a 3rd and 5.
I've never seen someone so casually take these hits. Lepkowski's been getting lit up like a Christmas tree for the last 4 or 5 years, and he always pops up slow just because that's kind of his speed. He's got one speed, but he's taken some shots since I've been here, and to see him kind of pop up the way he does, just kind of nonchalant, like he's been doing it for years, and it cracks me up when I play, and it cracks me up now. But he's off to a good start so far.
6'4", 251 pounds. He's certainly built for it at the tight end position. Brosmer back to pass. Here comes June Caution. Simon gets it away to Burke. Hangs on to it with the hit. Or they're going to call it incomplete.
Now you're thinking, Caleb, what do you do here? A couple plays don't go your way. Just ride the storm. You come out, have 3 catches early, 2 PBUs. Just ride the wave.
Punting unit back on the field for New Hampshire on the 4th and 5. Sean Lahane coming into the day, averaging just about 38 yards per punt, along a 53. He's pinched 7 of them inside the 20-yard line. And the deep man for Albany is Levi Wentz with his heels on the 16-yard line. Lahane gets it away. Called for the fair catch at about the 23-yard line, down to his knees. And UAlbany will take back over. The game tied at 14 here, Brian. New Hampshire's defense has held up. A couple big plays have been the difference maker, and that's why UAlbany is still in this game. But for the most part, New Hampshire has handled the offense with ease.
It's just 2 big plays, and that's the reason why they've only thrown those shots twice, is because they know they can't march down the field. So if we can just get rid of the big play, and that's stuff that Gillick and Coach DeAndre are going to talk at halftime. It's just inside and in front. It should be a shutout if those 2 plays don't happen. So look for them to just keep everything inside here going forward.
A lot of the 2s out on the New Hampshire defense right now. They give to Faisal Aiden. He's got nowhere to go. The pile will push him for a generous gain of about 4.
UNH has been doing a good job winning the push at the end of the play when contacts met. A lot of the times that, again, doesn't show up on the stat sheet is which way is the ball pushing? Are your guys pushing ball back, or are you giving up an extra cheap 2 yards on the defensive side of the ball? You got to mitigate and try and get at least a forward progress, but don't give up any cheap yards once the pile's formed.
Poffenbarger back to pass, another deep shot looking for Wentz down the boundary, through his hands. Caleb Mead step for step with him. A good pass, but even better coverage from Mead. Take a look here.
It's a great job by Caleb. Once the receiver puts his hands up, he finds the mesh point of his hands, shoots his hands, rips the ball out.
Caleb Mead, a guy Coach Santos described to me as a bulldog on that defensive backfield.
Good to see him bounce back after giving up that touchdown.
3rd and 6 for Albany on their own 28-yard line. Poffenbarger scans the field, nowhere to go with it. Here comes the pressure, steps to his left, floats it over the middle. Levi Wentz comes down with it in New Hampshire with the shoestring tackle from Joe Eichmann. Levi Wentz with some theatrics after the play, and they will toss the flag on the field.
Did they call the flop?
I didn't quite see what led up to it, but there is a flag on the field. And
you ever see the plays where the lineman's on the ball as an ineligible receiver, and then they fall back?
Yeah.
And then it gets on SportsCenter every time. That's what he just did at the end of the play. I've done it too. I've actually done it against Albany, and it worked. So I got the LeBron flop, but I'm not falling for that.
Seems like an unnecessary roughness on the cornerback, Noah Stansbury. We'll take a look at it. See, Wentz goes to the turf. Where does Stansbury come into the mix? retakes. Just a shove to the face mask there.
Should give him just. You can't be following the ground like that. you gotta give the ref a chance to see what actually happens.
Yeah. Dietz and Easton near side for Albany. Fake the give, going that way. Finds Dietz, has the outside, and up ahead for a first down.
Regroup here, get him to 3. And again, it goes back to the first drive. They're just attacking them on the outside, making the safeties come down, tackle. They're trying to stay out of the middle. But outside, we got to realize that they're coming to the flat every time. They're just trying to stay away from the front 7.
4.5 to play here in the first half. Despite all New Hampshire's success, Albany threatening to go into halftime with a lead here. Give to Faisal Aiden, cuts back toward the middle, stopped in his tracks by Dylan Ruiz.
Great push by the D-line. Great job by Flex coming in late. Stopping him, no scrap yards.
Let's take a look at this. It looked like Dylan caught him out of midair and placed him back on the ground, and he kind of did. He tried to scamper over his own offensive lineman there. Dylan just caught him and took him for a walk backwards. 2nd and 9, under 4 to play.
Zone look here.
3 receivers to the left. Poffenbarger steps up into the pocket, finds Woodell. It's a safety hatch out to the outside. Gain of just a couple.
Good late rotation by safety Max Oxendine. They're disguising the cover 4 look. They bump into a cover 3. He's looking for the hash fade on the left side. Oxendine's waiting for him. He's baiting for him to throw it. But great job by Poffenbarger too. He's looking around, pressure's coming, finding the back in the flat for a 1-yard gain instead of a 6-yard loss.
3rd and 6 from the 13-yard line. Poffenbarger and company await the call from the sideline. Woodell split out to the right. Johnny Collins will follow him. Poffenbarger all alone. Here comes the house from New Hampshire. Silver bearing down, too high for the receiver. He was looking for Brevin Easton, and that'll bring up 4th.
Good gamble by defensive coordinator Coach Gillick, Garrett Gillick. They like to gamble down here, especially on 3rd down. They know they have the pass rush, make him get it out, do exactly what Poffenbarger did, throw it out of the end zone. 3 points. Hopefully, I mean, it's not guaranteed 3 points. I mean, we have the best field goal rush team in the country. Look for Randall Harris and Caleb Meade coming off the edge.
Charles Briscoe has an FCS Special Teams Player of the Week nod to his name this season. Randall Harris, 4 block kicks to his credit, leading the nation. He gets it off and does not get it through. That one's going to be wide left, and this game is knotted up at 14. New Hampshire will take over with about 2.5 to play here, Brian.
Yep, just hold them to 3. It works. They get a good rush. I think their past reputation of getting to the kick quick, I think altered that one. I hope, but they do such a great job just getting off the ball fast. I like how they're not taking from the New England Patriots and sending the guy in motion for an easy block.
You didn't like that one?
I knew everyone was going to do it the second it worked so easy, but they don't need it. I think their consistent rush on the field goal block is going to alter some kicks throughout the year. You see it there.
No need for a kickoff. Brosmer and the offense back out on their own 20-yard line. Looking to go into halftime with a lead. They'll send Lepkowski in motion. Albany rushes 6. Brosmer gets it away to Lepkowski. Gain of about 2 or 3. Larry Walker Jr. is the one that pushed him out of bounds for UAlbany. New Hampshire quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Brosmer had nowhere to go with it. The ball batted loose, picked up by UAlbany. And they think they have it. We'll take another look at it. We saw a similar play earlier that was eventually ruled incomplete, and let's take a look. Ghassan Shahade came up with the ball. They're going to call it an interception on the field.
Will Martin III on Mason Davis. Again, he's getting his hand in his outside pad, and he's able to push him into Brosmer. That's the 2nd time that's happened this game off the left side of the edge.
Ghassan Shahade was the one that came up with it. Sophomore out of Latham, New York, and the UAlbany offense is on the field. This one's going to stand up, and they have second life now. 2:12 to play. Ball on the 19.
If you look at the sideline for the Cats right now, it's starting to get that feeling like, all right, well, now they don't need to force themselves to play well right now. They just got to keep doing what they're doing. If they're not turning the ball over, they're marching. They've had great looks.
Poffenbarger will take it himself on the design quarterback run. Again, runs into the pile. New Hampshire wins the push and doesn't give them those extra couple of yards. Is up to the 15.
It's kind of a relief, though, for these guys to be in this game against Albany, who always plays them tough, to have 2 bad turnovers going into the half, because that's Coach Santos' MO at halftime is going to be, the only team beating us right now is ourselves. And if we have, there's 2 plays up front where we can protect, and that's been the difference so far in 2 big plays. Other than that, 95% of the game, they've been dominating, at least in the short game. But that's relieving for them to know that there's been a couple lazy mistakes, but that's the stuff they're going to niche in the half, going towards the second half.
2nd and 6. Dietz was the motion man. Poffenbarger fakes the give, fires left, complete up to about the 5-yard line. It was Dietz that came down with it. We'll give him the 5. UAlbany winning the series over the last 7 games against New Hampshire. New Hampshire just 2-5 over that span. You guys went into upstate New York a season ago and took care of business, but Albany threatening again this year. Again, coming into the season, they were only ranked 11th in the preseason poll. New Hampshire was 2nd. They even got a first place vote, but the teams have kind of leveled out midway through the season.
We were pretty sick of them pushing us around for the last couple of years. We wanted to go in there, set the tone last year, but they're holding their own this year.
Give to Waddell, he had nowhere to go with it. That'll be his 7th rush attempt on the day. New Hampshire keeping him in check under 25 yards right now. Timeout by UAlbany with 39 seconds to go in the half. Brian, we'll take a look at this one here. Again, Poffenbarger, give to Waddell. New Hampshire just swarming him.
Great job by 39, Ryan Toscano. Blowing that play up, shedding the block, and still managing to make the tackle.
And you talk about New Hampshire, not a ton of transfers around here. They like to just plug the holes when they can, but a lot of homegrown local kids. Joe Eichmann and Ryan Toscano, the perfect examples of that. The 2 best tacklers on the defense, maybe. Eichmann hailing from Merrimack. Ryan Toscano, one of a couple guys out of Bedford, the former Bulldog. So New Hampshire allowing their local stars to make plays here on the big stage.
Those guys complement each other so well, too, because Toscano, what he does great, too, is not only can he tackle in space, but his coverage ability and knowing him and being friends with him throughout the years. His idol was always Luke Kuechly, and that's always one thing I knew about him. He loved Kuechly. He wanted to copy his style of play, so he's able to cover the pass really well. And then Eichmann complimenting him, being able to come up the run game and make these tackles coming in the box from the safety position. It's been a good 2-way partnership there for those guys, able to complement each other.
Josiah Silver, welcome to the party. Reese Poffenbarger had no time to react before JoJo was in his jersey.
There he is. There's the Virginia symbol, the VA with the fingers.
Let's see, fake the give, and how do you do, Josiah Silver right in his face mask.
There he is.
Carter Moses, the backup tight end, was in at the H-back and just couldn't catch up with the speed of Silver. That'll bring up 3rd down. 3rd and goal from the 10, I should say.
I love when he does the Virginia with his fingers.
I've always wondered what that was.
I did that after a touchdown one time.
Did you?
I don't know why.
The Massachusetts native.
I told Al Lessels a couple years ago, like, JoJo's my favorite player on the team. Scored a touchdown, hit up the Virginia.
3rd down and goal from the 9-yard line. New Hampshire hoping for another big play here, something Albany's made famous on their defensive end. They had a big stand on the goal line on their defense against Towson last week. They beat Morgan State in overtime a few weeks ago. Again, another stop down inside the red zone. New Hampshire trying to make their name as well. Two receivers to each side. Woodell in the backfield with Poffenbarger. Josiah Silver once again. He gets it off to Woodell. Randall Harris swirls him to a stop, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Mr. Do-It-All right now, Randall. He always shows up. I can't remember the last time watching a game where I'm thinking he isn't in. Randall's showing up. He wanted to be a captain, and he's showing that he could have made a good one throughout the course of this year. He just keeps showing up in every facet of the game.
The veteran nature of the group. There are a lot of candidates that could have been captain on this year's team. It's going to be a 26-yard field goal. And after all that, Albany comes away with points in 19 seconds to play in the quarter. So, again, Brian, it feels like we've had a lot of chaos here just for everything to kind of even back out. We had, UAlbany getting stopped on 4th down. New Hampshire takes over, gives it right back, and Albany still somehow comes out even with points on this one. They've got a lead, 19 seconds to play, see what New Hampshire can do, but they might surprisingly go into the half with a deficit here.
Yeah, they'll probably knee it out unless they can get a big return here. It's again, that's what's relieving about it for the Cats. Yeah, you're going to be at a deficit going into the half, but it's pretty obvious why they have 17, we got 14. Is just take care of the football and mitigate the big play. It's just two pretty big things. It's their angles are good, their tackling angles look good. They're wrapping up, they're playing physical. It's just you got to cover your guy and don't get beat deep. And that's all stuff that they'll adjust in the second half, and I think they're going to mitigate going forward.
We've seen you, or at least I have, as a receiver, a quarterback, and now a broadcaster today. Let's put your coaching hat on and see how you do. Any question to the decision of keeping Lauby out here on the kickoffs and punts, even though he's not 100%?
No, I like it. And if he wasn't as tough as he is, I'd say you can switch him out. But I think what they're doing is they're putting Caleb in his original spot to where the ball is usually kicked, and then they're switching Dylan over. So the ball's probably going to go right here towards Caleb. Yep, there it is.
The two switch spots right before the kick. Back pedal and catch by Caleb Mead up the middle. Has a seam across the 25 before he's brought down with 14 seconds to play in the quarter. You take a knee here, Brian, or you see if you can get a play or two off and maybe somehow get on the other side of the field.
I think they can try and at least get one. I don't know why it would hurt to throw a Hail Mary towards the 50. That's not usually their MO. I wouldn't be surprised if they just took the knee here.
Formation is lending itself to that. Brosmer under center. They will take a knee into halftime, trailing by 3 here. So many positives here, Brian, for New Hampshire, but they go into the half with a deficit. What's one thing, if you're in that locker room, what are you telling New Hampshire to come out in the second half?
Just double down from the approach that you had coming into the game. Yeah, you get down. You knew Albany was going to play it tough. Just come out and do the game plan. Everything they have is there. The only team beating them right now is themselves. There's two lackadaisical turnovers, get beat over the top twice. It's just have the same approach that you had coming into the game, going into the second half, and I think they'll be okay. Just take care of the football.
And we'll be back on the other side with more coverage from Homecoming Saturday in Durham, New Hampshire. Stick with us. UAlbany 17, New Hampshire 14 at the end of 2. Yeah, he's in here. Are we on camera now? Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. He's putting it on right about now.
It's been pretty good. I got you. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Live from halftime here in Wildcat Stadium in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Cameron Beal, and I'm happy to be joined by Commissioner of the newly minted Coastal Athletic Association. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing great, Camp. Thanks for having me on this afternoon. Appreciate it.
Of course, we're happy to have you with us. And, you know, the CAA is alive and well. It's one of the deepest conferences in all the FCS. You have William and Mary, New Hampshire, back to the top where they belong. And now you have, you know, Rhode Island and other teams like that in the mix. UAlbany getting votes this week, up to 24 in some of the polls. What do you like from the conference this year? It's a very deep, as usual, a very talented conference. So what do you see from the field so far?
Well, not much has changed in terms of exactly what you said, top to bottom, right? Team 1 all the way down to Team 15, whatever the standings may be. It's an incredibly competitive conference. We think top to bottom, it is indeed the best conference in FCS football, and you're seeing a great game here today. Two very talented teams, maybe two of the better quarterbacks, right, in the conference. And you just look around the conference, exceptional coaches, exceptional student athletes, and it starts right at the top. We're really great to be able to work with a great group of presidents, a great group of athletic directors. That's what makes the conference special, the people that are involved.
And you mentioned the 15 teams there. You welcomed a few newcomers this year. Campbell, one of them, and then we're welcoming Bryant, I believe, next year. Is that correct?
That is correct. That'll put the conference at 16, which is a great number for scheduling purposes. We don't have to have anybody with a bye week in the last couple of weeks of the season, which we don't want to have. And it just again shows the strength. Bryant's going to be a very nice addition to the conference. I don't know if people know this or not. They have a full 100-yard indoor facility. They're going to do some renovations to their game field. And when you add the fact that they're now in the CAA, just like all of our institutions, you can add that recruiting aspect to it to say you're now recruiting student athletes into our conference. It's a big plus for any of our institutions.
So once we get this thing to 16, once we welcome Bryant, is there any thought of further expansion, or do you think maybe we're all set for a while? What's kind of the outlook of the conference once we do welcome Bryant in?
Yeah, you know, the best way to answer that question, it's such a fluid situation right now within all of college athletics. So we're going to continue to make the best decisions that we can make for the long-term future of the CAA.
And it's got to be great to have New Hampshire back up toward the top again, a longtime staple in the FCS playoffs. Had a bit of a lull the last 5 years or so, but they're back alive and well. It's got to be great to have a mainstay like that back toward the top.
Well, I mean, the history of this program really is just incredible. When you look at the playoff run, you look at what Coach McDonald was able to do. Rick comes in, obviously an incredible career when he was here as a student athlete. I know he took over for that interim year when Coach was sick, and then came back, obviously, as the head coach. But it's just a solid program here. They do things the right way. The intensity level is always incredibly high, and it's just a great brand of football. And it's an incredible tradition. And you're right, it's always great to be here. And you know you're going to see a great football game. That's exactly what we're seeing today.
Exactly. UAlbany 17, New Hampshire 14. We're happy to have CAA Commissioner Joe D'Antonio with us today. We'll be back after this with further halftime coverage from Wildcat Stadium. You talking to me? Okay. 55-0. Okay. Homecoming from Wildcat Stadium, where the New Hampshire Wildcats hoping to turn the tides in the second half. They took a 3-point deficit into the locker room. But before that, let's take a look at New Hampshire's do-it-all back, Dylan Lauby, on this Flow Sports feature.
So Dylan Lauby is a very special player.
Copy.
You know, when he's in the slot, I haven't seen him
Copy.
mess up. He's always in the right spot.
Very rarely do you see one guy bring him down. He's really strong in his lower half. And then he also has the ability from a stagnant position to get up to top speed really fast. He can make people miss. He's strong running through contact, and all of a sudden if he sees a seam, you know, he's gone and he has the ability to take it for a touchdown.
It's just crazy what he could do with the ball in his hands. Like, 1 minute you just think he's about to get tackled. Next thing you know, he's 75-yard touchdown and we're back in the game. He's like probably the fastest kid I've seen on a football field. I've never seen him get chased down, even in practice. I've never seen someone come close to him once he gets open field.
I've always been like a running back, and that's always been my thing. I mean, I love being a receiver. I love being a kick returner, a punt returner, but my favorite thing to do is definitely being a running back.
He's always been a dynamic player. He's changed his body in terms of putting on more muscle, getting stronger, bigger, faster, all those things. But the biggest thing we've noticed is him being a vocal leader.
One more time! One more time!
How you doing?
Ready, break down! Up! Catch on me! Catch on me! Ready, begin! Ready, break down! Up! Woo!
Every time we lift, it's the last one to leave the lift, last one to leave practice, always doing something extra.
I'm definitely more of the relaxed type of guy, like in the locker room. If anybody wants to talk to me, I'll listen to all of them. I think everyone looks up to me as that guy that just like wants to push them to the next extra mile. At the end of the day, I just want us to have fun and just win. So I'm kind of trying to push everyone.
I'm just grateful to have Dylan on the team.
We're the team behind your team and your school. We're also the team our customers rely on. Wherever things are getting done, powered up, and made better with Caterpillar equipment in the Northeast, you'll find Milton Cat, the team prepared for every challenge. Milton Cat, always ready.
At UNH, we go faster, farther, higher. Because she did. We didn't just get here. She did it for me. I do it for her. They did it for us. We do it for them. Celebrating 50 years and counting of Title IX and every Wildcat who leads the way.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped me get to the first day at my career, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from my service helped me buy my first home. And I take pride knowing I will be the first to respond if my community ever needs me. To learn more, visit nationalguard.com.
The rivalry just got hotter. Buffalo Wild Wings is the proud sponsor of the UNH versus Maine border battle. All year long, visit unhwildcats.com/border battle for rivalry updates and special offers. When the Cats win, we all win on this side of the border. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Is it the caramel, the cinnamon, or the pumpkin spice that'll make you live, laugh, launch yourself into a pile of cardigans? Maybe you find out. The Pumpkin Spice Signature Latte.
Meet future you. This is your promotion, your breakthrough, your impact. And this is how you got there.
Sounds good.
UNH Graduate School, online or on campus, for the future you want.
Back here from Wildcat Stadium, where the UAlbany Great Danes took a 17-14 lead into the locker room over the Wildcats on their homecoming Saturday, and it's been a few big plays that have really been the difference for UAlbany, New Hampshire. Mostly dominating from start to finish, and let's take a look at some of the highlights here from this first half. Max Brosmer pulls the ball out of Albany and runs it in for the touchdown. That put New Hampshire on the board first, and then UAlbany came right back, faked the give, and Poffenbarger just unloads on this one to Brevin Easton. Caleb Mead couldn't muscle him down, I should say, ran in for the touchdown, and that tied things up at 7 for UAlbany. And then here comes Brosmer in the offense. Back to the exact same play they ran on the play before, Brian, for Logan Tomlinson, and the touchdown put him back ahead 14-7.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back to that exact same play coming down the road. They've been going a lot of single coverage, open access down in the red zone. Muir Hall, he's the guy to do it, but you get Logan Tomlinson, you get him going early. And there's a reason they came back to that play back 2 times in a row. They're going to come back to it in the second half.
Julian Hicks, yet another deep ball for UAlbany. That's how they got their 2 touchdowns. And Brosmer the ball batted out here and, hit a few other hands on the way down before eventually picked off by UAlbany. That coming on the heels of a turnover on downs. Albany gets it right back. Swing and through for the field goal, and that's how we got here. Albany 17, New Hampshire 14. And Brian, let's take a look at some of the stats from the first half. Albany with the edge in yards. Most of those coming on those 2 big plays through the air for the touchdowns. They got 210 passing from Poffenbarger.
Yeah, not surprised to see passing 8 times over rushing. Again, if Dill was full go, this game could be totally different. But those are the elements you got to deal with, especially a running back getting 30-plus carries a game. There's going to be a couple games throughout the year where he's not going to be able to give you his best all the time. But you got Logan stepping up early. Caleb Burks made some catches on early. Look for Miles Thomason to get going here in the second half. Sometimes Coach Brian Scott, OC, Santos, they have a couple wrinkles that they implement at the second half purposely, not giving Albany a chance to talk about it at halftime. So look for other guys to get involved here moving forward in the second half, giving Albany less time to prepare for a surprise coming out of the locker room.
We'll be back on the other side with more coverage from Wildcat Stadium here on a homecoming Saturday. New Hampshire tries to crawl their way back into this one. We'll be back from Durham. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had any of these graphics. Yeah. Do you have the pass rushers one? Okay. Yeah. Again, whenever it's fitting, yeah. Sounds good. tightly contested matchup here with about 90 seconds to go before we kick off the second half of action. I'm Cameron Beal, happy to be joined by Brian Espinette, former UNH wide receiver and captain. And Brian, during the break, we were just talking about how closely matched these two teams really are. New Hampshire came in ranked second in the CAA in the preseason poll. Albany was down at 11. Handful of transfers on the team, and you didn't really know what to expect from them. But things have leveled out. New Hampshire came into the week ranked 24th in one poll. Albany was 24th in another. In that same poll, New Hampshire is outside the top 25, but ranked 32nd. And in the other poll, you guessed it, UAlbany down at 32nd in that one. So a bit of parity in how people view these teams, but in the end, things have evened out, and that's been the case in the first half as well.
Yeah, there's a reason they call it a preseason poll, and once the dust settles, it's obvious of who came to show up, and both these teams have done a great job this year. It's always been an even matchup. UNH dropped the last two games, but they have the guys, they have the roster, they have the experience, most importantly, to bounce back. I think they could potentially run the table if they really start to get going. They start to get Dylan healthy, but just such a good matchup. We talk about the quarterbacks going into this game. This is ones that fans wanted to see, and great one to get on the homecoming schedule. Should be a shootout for the rest of the game. We'll see.
Albany teased this up to New Hampshire for the second half. Lauby and Caleb Mead back to receive. And you talk about running the table. New Hampshire already at 3 losses. 3 losses is kind of that line of demarcation, whether you're a playoff team or not. We saw that here last year against Rhode Island. That one was kind of the big one. Like, the loser might not be in, and you guys got the better of the Rams. They ended up probably the best team to get cut from that playoff field. It's a 2014 playoff field, 10 automatic bids from the conference winners. Only 4 at-large bids a season ago had 4 losses. Delaware is one of them at 7-4. So if you run the table, you've got a decent chance of making it in. It's a little tougher with 4 losses.
Yeah, and what brings on the more importance to these games is the fact that these teams are going to have a similar record at the end of the year. And it's a playoff game no matter how you look at it, because you know, if you get the edge earlier in the season and you have a similar record at the end of the game, and it's up to the commission, it's up to the committee to decide on which team is going to get in. You know, you got to have, like the Towson game we dropped last week. It's like, all right, how do you bounce back? How do you attack Albany? Because they're 4-2 coming to this game. There's a good chance that they're going to be in the mix. They weren't in the mix last year, but there's a good chance that when they're having that meeting deciding which CAA teams are getting in the playoffs, Albany's certainly going to be in that discussion. But New Hampshire, they have the ability. We went on a great run last year. They need to find that spark where, you could see the energy on the sideline last couple games. You got to find that spark and just try and steamroll them here in the second half. But it's going to be a shootout, I think, with two great quarterbacks.
See safety Max Oxendine down on the field from the kickoff. You saw the replay there. Normally a hard-hitting safety, and that's kind of where your head goes when you think what he might be down with. It looked like he might have just gotten rolled up on the back end of that play. It looks like lower body, and he'll walk off mostly under his own power here. And if he's not able to go in the New Hampshire secondary, you look to a guy like Derek Thompson, Brendan Tynes, Zidane Williams are the backups there in the safety group.
He's their vocal leader in the back end. He was one that me and Max talked in the offseason during school last year during the MBA program, and he was, one of his points was he wanted to just continue to be that vocal leader, and once he got healthy, be that vocal leader, but be the guy that brings the boom and come up and get in the box and stop guys on short downs. But he'll get back in the field. He'll be all good.
New Hampshire 1st and 10 from the 38. Give to Lauby right out of the chute. Gain of about 1.5. It'll bring up 2nd down. Trying to get Lauby some work early in the second half.
Joey Corcoran doing the Brian Espinette block in the corner 7 seconds after the play. I call that leaving a legacy.
Sure, absolutely. Corcoran deployed bottom of your screen. Or excuse me, it's Tomlinson bottom of your screen. Receivers bunched up on the left side of the formation. Lauby deep in the backfield. Brosmer under center. The pitch to Lauby. Out to the left. And there's Dylan Kelly in on the stop, the reigning FCS Defensive Player of the Week. Racked up 23 of those last week at Towson.
Talked about it early, Cam. They're going to run right at these DNs, try and slow them down, make them shed blocks, tire them out. They know they're going to need that They know they're going to need the pass rush going into the 4th quarter, trying to tire these guys out, run counter, run pitches, run anything right at these guys, make them shed blocks, exert more energy than they have to, as opposed to just pass rushing.
Corcoran, Lepkowski, and Burke bottom of your screen. Tomlinson top. Burke in motion. Brosmer back to pass. Here comes Simon around the edge. Brosmer rushes to his left and eventually somehow gains about a yard on that one. And he didn't know it, but he had A.J. Simon coming up right behind him.
That's the Santos sixth sense right there that you see out of Max. He could just feel him behind him, and if he doesn't dodge that sack right there, there's a good chance that ball's coming out and potentially going the other way. There was defenders creeping up, ready to pick up that strip sack, but great job by Max sensing that pressure and avoiding an 8-yard loss.
We talk about the big plays from the UAlbany offense. New Hampshire's mostly been okay on the offensive end, but they've had a few big plays from Albany's defense where they came up from behind. One went for an incompletion. We thought it was a strip sack at the time. Another one, a forced interception from Brosmer. Nearly another there as Lahane boots it away on 4th down. And the fair catch for UAlbany is dropped. There's a flag on the field. Randall Harris picks it up and runs into the end zone. And we'll see if this one's coming back.
Yeah, this one's going to come back. They ran right into him.
As Levi Wentz back to receive for UAlbany. Let's take a look. Calls for the fair catch. Looked like maybe Charles Briscoe clipped him with his right foot. Lost his footing, wasn't able to complete the catch. Yeah, this one's going to come back.
That's something they do really well too, Cam, is especially on punts and kicks, is how close they get every time in the rush, is how often they stay off of the kicker or the punter. And that's all coaching too. That's a drill that they work weekly, is wrapping that corner, taking in the right angle to not run right into the kicker. And that's something that also shows up and you got to be cognizant of when you're running into the punter. We got nabbed there. Charles Briscoe got nabbed there, but that's something overall consistently they do very well, is staying off the kicker and the punter.
Briscoe, one of the best special teamers on this New Hampshire team, just flew a little too close to the sun there. And that slightest amount of contact gives UAlbany a first down from their own 32-yard line. They'll bring Woodell in motion. Fake to give. Poffenbarger fires over the middle. Hits Julian Hicks, and New Hampshire barely brings him down, and he had no one to beat after Noah Stansbury.
There's the similarities in the offense. There's the RPO. Poffenbarger fakes it to the running back, gets the safety to draw down. He knows he has the single receiver outside on the post, draws the safety down on the run action, throws it over his head for an easy completion. And that stuff too, that who's that up there? Is that Randall? He's got to know that he's given the inside leverage with no safety help on the inside. He's got to be ready for that glance post coming across the middle.
Hicks was the one that broke free for Albany's second touchdown. They'll give it to Woodell on this one. Stansbury once again in on the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Great job by Ryan Toscano, making him redirect in the backfield, letting the troops come in and help him out. Took a shot there, redirected it. Great TFL. The TFL gain of 1.
Maybe a gain of a couple inches, it looks like they'll give him. Stansbury hasn't quite showed up on the stat sheet this year, but last year he had the second most TFLs on the team with 6. Excuse me, third most on the team. So he's a guy you'll see all over the field.
Cornerback, defensive back, and offensive tackles have a lot in common, and it's if they don't show up, that means if they're not showing up in the stat sheet, that means they're probably having a good game.
Yeah. Poffenbarger gliding to his left, unloads once again over the middle. It's Brevin Easton, some contact at the top of the route, and he's in for the touchdown. It was Noah Palm, the defensive back for New Hampshire. Easton looked like once again he had to kind of come back toward the football, and that's what led to the contact, and we'll see here. Yeah, Palm just kind of went flying by him after the hand fighting, and Albany extending their lead here.
Noah Palm's got to trust that ball is going to be close enough so where if he turns his head, he's going to have a chance at that. Great placement by Poffenbarger.
Opalco boots it through, and we'll step aside here from Durham, where New Hampshire suddenly finds himself down 10 moments into the third quarter. Copy. Sounds good. Back into Wildcat Stadium, where UAlbany is silencing a homecoming crowd against the New Hampshire Wildcats, ahead by 10 now with 11 and a half to play here in the third. And Brian, let's take a look at how they got here. It's been big plays all over the yard.
We're just running simple posts and corners all over the field, and we just got to stay inside and front. But I think the secondary guys, they just got to get their head around. They're in good spots at most of the time. We're just turning and finding the ball, making a play on it in the air, and that's the difference. You got to trust the fact that the ball is going to be in the air and within your reach. But at the same time, it's just we're stopping the run great. Cats and Brosmer's the guy too. When they scored that touchdown on Palm right there, I instinctively just looked to Max, and he's getting his guys going. They're down 10, but no other quarterback you want here down, especially the FCS leader in passing. So look for this to be a high-scoring game, and look for the Cats to get on the board here.
Trev and Easton bookending the scores for UAlbany, the first and third one. Julian Hicks had the second one, the 75-yarder, the first play of that drive. Like you said, Max Brosmer in the offensive comeback out here. Brosmer, second in the nation in passing yards per game this season. They'll pooch this one up around the 25. Caleb Mead will take it himself with Lauby trailing and bring it up across the 30. Not a spot New Hampshire is unfamiliar with. We've mentioned that Rhode Island game here last year a few times. You guys, I believe, were down 10 in that game in the second half. Came back and won it. Of course, DJ Lincoln's the big touchdown toward the end. But that didn't come without a handful of big plays on the defensive end, too. There were some fumbles in there, some big sacks. I remember one in particular from Noah Stansbury. And so New Hampshire is capable of this. It's a very similar roster that they had a season ago with so many comebacks under their belt. We'll see what they can do with it here. Brosmer and the offense takes over. Lauby 2 yards behind him. Corcoran the motion man. Fake to give to Lauby. Quick fire out to Tomlinson on the outside. Breaks one tackle. Can't get out of the second. Gain of about 6.
It's a great look there. It's almost like you got two plays going on at the same time. They're bringing in Joey Corcoran inside of motion, trying to diagnose the man in zone coverage. They went zone right there. Easy look for the RPO on the other side. Fake handoff to Dill right to Logan for an easy 5 yards. They're going to keep airing it out here.
2-by-2 set for New Hampshire. Spreading things out. Lauby kicks it to the outside. Keeps going laterally. Cuts back in behind the block of Joey Corcoran, who guides him for a gain of about 8.
Look at the stair step he keeps doing. He keeps turning his head and shoulders, getting the defender to suck in, and then bouncing right back out. He probably did it 3 times right there on that exact play. Great block by Joe out wide. Taking for a ride.
That's why you hold those blocks for that long after the play, because you never know where Lauby's going to emerge from. You never know where he's going to be, and they'll go right back to him, dragged down by Dylan Kelly. No gain on that one. Lauby, that'll go for his 7th rush. He's only gained 23 yards on the ground today. John Charles also in on the stop, the 2 dynamic linebackers for UAlbany this season.
One-on-one, probably going to run a comeback down at the bottom of the screen. There it is.
Lepkowski across the middle and tripped up just short of a first down. That'll put New Hampshire in about 3rd and 2 here.
I say just keep feeding Lepkowski.
His 5th catch on the day.
He tried telling me he had better hands than me last year. He said he had better hands than me. That was a great conversation.
What's the verdict, you?
I mean, does he have great hands? Yeah, but I'm like, take this elsewhere. I was like, there's levels to this, pal. Nah, but Lep's got a great set of hands on him. He was one of those guys when he came in as a freshman. You know, he was kind of a big dope of a thing. Didn't really have a ton of muscle on him, but he had big size. But had great hands, great natural instincts, and just what a career he's had so far. Good friend too.
We'll step aside here and see what Lepkowski and the offense can do. 3rd and 2 coming up for New Hampshire on the other side.
We're the team behind your team and your school. We're also the team our customers rely on. Wherever things are getting done, powered up, and made better with Caterpillar equipment in the Northeast, you'll find Milton Cat, the team prepared for every challenge. Milton Cat, always ready.
At UNH, we go faster, farther, higher. Because she did. We didn't just get here. She did it for me. I do it for her. They did it for us. We do it for them. Celebrating 50 years and counting of Title IX and every Wildcat who leads the way.
The rivalry just got hotter. Buffalo Wild Wings is the proud sponsor of the UNH versus Maine border battle. All year long, visit unhwildcats.com/border battle for rivalry updates and special offers. When the Cats win, we all win on this side of the border. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
We're back with a 3rd and 2 for New Hampshire. 9:42 to play here in this 3rd frame from Wildcat Stadium, joined by Brian Espinette. I'm Cameron Beal. New Hampshire 4 of 9 on 3rd downs today. They came into the day converting on 44% of 3rd downs, which ranked 5th of the 15 teams in the CAA. See what they can do here. Lepkowski was a guy you wanted to see more of going into the break. He had that last catch to bring up the 3rd and short.
Expect some sort of motion if they don't pound it here. Yep, they're going loaded backfield. Probably going to motion a guy out. Or everybody.
3 men initially in the backfield with Brosmer. They motion everyone to the right. Out to Burke. Lincoln's with the lead block. Burke up to the 45, and it looks like he's just a few yards short. Not sure he gained anything on that one. That'll bring up a 4th and 2.
Gotta go.
New Hampshire 0 for 1 on 4th downs today. And we'll see, they motioned everyone to the right. The throw just a little low to Caleb Burke. Couldn't quite catch it and go. They load up the left side here. 4th and 2. Brosmer keeps it as a seam up the middle. Tumbles down for a 1st down.
What a great read. That's tight right off the DN. You're going to have a great look at it here. DN could have made both the plays in one, but it's just like coming off a screen in basketball. Great to see him get the 4th down, 4th and short.
And despite Lauby not being super productive on the ground today, that's why you give him those rushes to start the half, to bait the defense in a little and set up a play like that.
That's why you keep him in for sure. Classic decoy on that play.
Lauby stays into block. Brosmer barely gets it away. Might have been tipped on the way out. Was intended for Tomlinson. Bring up 2nd down.
I haven't subbed much here in the 2nd half. Look for them to hurry up. They've gotten on the ball quick the last couple plays, trying to cut this lead, leave some time on the clock, get back into regular offense.
Once again, loading up the left side, Anton Junkaj, the far defensive end for Albany. AJ Simon, the near side. Junkaj breaks free. They get it to Lauby out of the backfield. Breaks 2 tackles, and he's got room to go. Spins out of another. Lauby scutters down for a 1st down.
Can't hold him down. Can't silence him.
Even when he's a little banged up, he'll still make plays like this. 1 tackle, 2 tackle, 3 tackles, and eventually just kind of slides down himself. They give it to him. Anton Junkaj was the first in there for the tackle, gain of maybe 1.
It's a great job on the last screen by right guard Matt O'Neill, number 73. He's probably, in my eyes, one of the most underrated guys in the league, just because he's been healthy, he's been consistent, he's good in pass pro, but he's fast, he's quick. He's a baseball player in high school. He's able to pull the icing on the cake last year against Fordham. Dylan runs right off of Oni, and he's been that rock of the offensive line.
Brosmer gliding right, checks it down to the running back. That's Miles Thomason, who's cyclone down for a stop. Not much of a gain there. Going back to right guard Matt O'Neill. Coach Santos said he was one of the most improved guys on the team over the offseason. Lost about 10 to 15 pounds. He said he's more muscular, better moving, more athletic, like you said. So not a guy who gets a lot of shine up there at right guard, but certainly recognized by his peers.
Locker room guy too. Oni was a guy they looked forward to seeing, hanging out with, but yeah, he's just what a great career he's had as well.
3rd and 7 from the 19. Brosmer takes a shotgun snap. The end's closing in. Has Lobby as his safety hatch, and he's got room to go. Met at the 3-yard line and shoved out of bounds. And that'll set New Hampshire up with a 1st and goal.
Just feed him, let him go to work. Acting like he's in pass pro, just leak out. And sometimes that's all you need for your offense. That's all you need as a spark, is just a simple, is just fake the run, act like he's in pass pro, leak him out, get him in the flat.
A give once again to Lobby, and he's going to be backed up here. They'll mark him down back at the 6, maybe the 5. Loss of a couple. They'll bring up 2nd down. And if you're New Hampshire, I think anything besides a touchdown here will feel a little disappointing, like you left something on the table, because they've got to start coming back. They know what the offensive is capable of, one of the best units in the country. And they've got to start putting some points on the board here.
Well, they're showing they can march. That's been the MO of the whole entire game. They just got to finish, get 6 here, get 7, cut the lead down to 3.
Isaac Seed to Brosmer's left, Lauby to the right. The give to Lauby, who runs in, touchdown, UNH.
What a cut. Needed that one.
We saw it on the last couple of plays. UNH kind of sending the backs in motion either way to create some sort of confusion on the defensive end, and it did there.
Right off Matt O'Neill, just like we were alluding to before. Oni in space can really move for a big dude, and I think Dylan looks for him, kind of like a quarterback looks for a receiver. I think Dylan looks for Matt O'Neill to run off of a lot of the time, especially in plays when he's pulling, running power.
Nick Mazie, 23 converted extra points this year. Let's make it 24. New Hampshire back to a 1-score game. They make this thing 24-21. And one final look here at the most recent touchdown for New Hampshire. Lauby had that one cut back toward the inside, and that's all he needed to get the few yards.
It's pretty relieving to see, especially having been part of the lull offensively from 2018 to 2021. When we score a touchdown, it's kind of refreshing to see everyone kind of just walk off, kind of like, no big deal, because it was way bigger deal when we would score a couple of years ago. But it's, they needed that one. It's nice to see them regroup and be like, all right, got to do it again.
Sorry, Brian. A question I've always meant to ask. You saw Max Brosmer there. He's in as the holder on extra points and field goals. Do you have any insight into kind of the rationale behind that? Is it just kind of to keep the playbook open in case you want to try some sort of a trick play or fake sure-handedness of a starting quarterback? Do you have any idea into the mindset for New Hampshire as why they keep Brosmer in there as the holder?
Honestly, my only analysis on that is that we always say that our best players are going to play special teams, so I don't think special teams coach Garrett McLaughlin is exempting any quarterbacks from that list.
Sure.
Hey, if you're the quarterback and you're going to be the best at this job, get in there. And he's been doing it for years, too.
Mazie sends the kickoff away into the end zone for a touchback. Yeah, because you see a lot of the times, oftentimes it's the punter. I feel like in the NFL you used to see the backup quarterback in there every now and again, but it's rare you see the actual starting quarterback. And we've seen New Hampshire, try some of those trick plays on extra points and field goals this season. And I'm sure having Brosmer out there keeps the playbook a lot more open for them.
You know what they should do to help protect the kickers? They should just put like Bo Riley out there. He's like 6'8", 390, something like that.
6'7".
He'd shield the kicker.
328 is the
keep him warm.
The freshman, the redshirt freshman listed as the backup right guard. They tried him out week 1 against Stonewall. They've tried a few names out at right guard this season. They've settled in on Aiden Michaud, it seems. And UAlbany sets up at the 25. Poffenbarger immediately looking right and fires to Brevin Easton, but it's too far outside the zone. Poffenbarger 15 of 24 today, 277 yards and 3 touchdowns. Again, we've harped on all day. The bulk of his 277 yards have come on those 3 touchdown catches.
Well, those have been that's been the highest percentage throw that he's had all day. They try to go out in the flat, make the safeties come down and tackle for the Cats, and they've been able to do that thus far. They just can't stop the big play over the middle when they go a too high safety look.
Hampshire with the second string D-line in there, and it doesn't make a difference. Griffin Woodell's got nowhere to go. A group of Zach Aaron, Kyle Finnick, Tim Bonagura, and Chris Donnelly usually do a great job of picking up right where that front line leaves off. 3rd and 10 for UAlbany here. The first group back out there. JoJo Silver in those red sleeves.
Such a luxury for our D-line, just being able to rotate guys and get consistent run stop and pass rush. That's been one of the most underrated parts. Yeah, you have your top guys, but just the luxury they have to be able to substitute and get similar production.
Big 3rd down, Wildcat Stadium on their feet. Check down to Faisal. Aiden brought to a stop by Noah Stansbury.
Took a shot and it paid off. He's been one of the best tackling corners in the league for 2 years now, and he just continues to show up, and we've been talking about it all game. They want to go outside, make the safeties and corners come down and make tackles. You can't do that against Oxidine, Eichmann, Stansbury, all these big guys out wide.
Something to keep an eye on. I could have just missed him, but I haven't noticed Max Oxendine out on the defense since he limped off on a kickoff, I believe it was, a few series ago. Nonetheless, UAlbany back to punt. Pressure in by Charles Briscoe, away to Dylan Labby. Does not fair catch, but wrapped up immediately at the 40.
Yeah, Oxidine's going around the D guys. He's tapping everybody up. He's got ice in his ankle. He's probably done for the day.
And he got rolled up on a kick a little bit ago. Jersey and shoulder pads are off. So who's the next man up on that New Hampshire defense, Brian? Who are you looking to?
It's going to be by committee, but you're going to see Noah Palm get in there, get more reps. You're going to see Derek Thompson step in, and that we really just have to cover the middle of the field when they go a too high look. They've been able to kind of mitigate the one high when they're trying to get an extra safety down in the box. But just when the too high comes and then the opposing safety is covering his man, you just got to fill the middle of the field with a guy that's going to cover and bat the ball away. But you just need that consistent pass rush to help these guys out back there.
Brosmer, plenty of time. A man wide open. DJ Linkins nearly stumbles out and pushed out inside the 10-yard line to set Wildcats up with a 1st and goal.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you're broke.
DJ Linkins, who was a star as a freshman a season ago, he's picked right back up as a sophomore. He's one of the most dynamic targets Brosmer's got. They're going to move quickly to the line of scrimmage. 2 to the right, Lincoln's top of your screen. Fake the give to Thomason. No, he does give it to Thomason, up for a gain of about 5.
That's all he needs to do there. He doesn't need to do anything special right now. He knows, Miles knows every time he touches the ball he can score. Just getting those extra hard, chippy yards, especially down in the red zone. Take the load off Dill.
2nd and 4 from the 10. Give back to Thomason. Met immediately by Dylan Kelly, the head of the snake there in the linebacking core from UAlbany.
Coach Steve Barnett last year had a great point. It was when we watched Miles run in the game. He had a run against, it was Elon last year, and the CAA Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Hillman, he's running downhill at him. He was running like Adrian Peterson, but we would say he's only 185 pounds. But if you give that kid Miles next year in the weight room, he's going to have a great career. Watch him take over for Dill in the upcoming years.
3rd and 2. Lofted back corner of the end zone. Burke can't come down with it. Got rolled up on at the end and couldn't hang on. And a decision here, Brian. We'll take a look. It's 4th and 2. You're at the 8-yard line. Do you come away with points, kick the field goal and tie it up, or?
Yeah, it's obvious here. You got to tie it up, put the pressure back on Albany. That's one he's going to watch later, Caleb. He knows he's got to have that. And that's the consistency part that we keep talking about on the air is just they have the ability to make all these plays and separate. It's just capitalizing on the play when it comes your way. But he knows.
25-yarder on the way for Maisie. He's 2 of 2 from this range on the season, under 30 yards. Let's make it 3-3, and let's make it a tie game, Brian. We're back even, 24-24, and if these offenses have showed us anything at all today, it's that they can move quick. This game was a 10-point game at the half, or shortly out of the half, I should say, and New Hampshire quickly ties it back up.
Yeah, this is going to be like a Fordham game last year. Like I think we're going to see some high 40s, maybe even low 50s, because Albany's throwing the ball anywhere they want. Brosmer's having a day, spreading the ball out, even with an injured Dill. What a play by DJ Lincoln's just on the sideline. I wish he had more awareness on that one, which because he drifted out of bounds a little bit, but it could have been an easy touchdown. But how to keep him in that for a big gain. Just gotta finish in the red zone. It's just go attack the ball. Don't let the ball come down over your eyes. Go attack it in the air, and that's something Caleb Burke did earlier in the game. Just got to double down there, get the score.
Talk about shootouts, something New Hampshire is a little too familiar with this season. Central Michigan. I was there with Justin McIsaac on a radio call, and I think everyone, at least on the New Hampshire side, agreed that New Hampshire may have been the better team that day. They lose on a walk-off field goal, 45-42. New Hampshire squibs it downfield. And then 2 weeks ago, before the bye week, of course, here against Towson, 54-51. You lose it in overtime. So New Hampshire knows how to put points on the board. It's just a matter of keeping the opposition off the board.
What a stick by Gavin Erda on that play, coming down. Dime corner usually at times, makes a ton of plays on special teams, great locker room guy.
Ole Manzik in the game in the middle of the field at linebacker. A great story for Ole Manzik. Was dynamic in 2019 as a true freshman. Won some weekly awards as a rookie that season. Injuries have hampered him since. Seems like he's mostly back to full health at this point. He's been a strong second option at linebacker in the middle of that defense. They give to Faisal Aiden on first down. He's got nowhere to go.
Tillett shooting the gap. They have so much depth at linebacker, and that can be frustrating for guys too, because it's almost like wide receiver in a way, where you get in there, you make a couple catches or you make a couple tackles, and you start to get in the flow of the game. But there's a lot of mouths to feed in that linebacker room. Great job by Tillett coming in for Toscano and making a play early.
You talk about Toscano and Shaw, the first guys on the two deep. Brandon Perkins, a guy who Coach Santos highlighted this week as a guy who's really impressed him, and then Max Tillett alongside him. Then you have Ole Manzik, like I said, was great as a rookie in 2019. And then Zidane Williams actually moved from linebacker to safety. Poffenbarger, the pocket collapses on him. He escapes. Drags it along the turf to Julian Hicks. What's the call? Incomplete pass, it looks like. Couldn't get his hands under it. Like I was saying, Zidane Williams was a really athletic linebacker. He made the move to safety. I imagine he's getting more playing time there than he would have if he was at linebacker this season.
Yeah, and I think that's a great call by the coaching staff, and I think that's a great call by Zidane to kind of just go with the flow in that situation. There was a crowded linebacker room. There was some question marks at safeties, whether who's going to be the real staple back there. But now Zidane's done a great job at strike, took over from Popish a little bit. Him and Noah Palm splitting time.
New Hampshire rushes for Silver around the edge. Poffenbarger lofts it near side. Brevin Easton bobbles it and can't come down with it. That'll bring up fourth down for New Hampshire, and Wildcat Stadium loves it.
Great coverage by Randall on that play. Great job by the receiver. He's running too. He knows Randall's looking at his hands. He shoots it late, but you can see it there. The ball drops down below his eyes, and we always talk about catch it above your eyes. You give the ball, he can't see it once it comes down, and that's where the drop comes in. Great job by Randall finishing that play.
This place doesn't exactly look like a dungeon anymore, but this is about the time of the game New Hampshire could really make things go from bad to worse for UAlbany. If they can tack another one on here and feel like the crowd's right on top of them.
Be ready for their UNH to take a shot right here. They just got ball back quick after scoring. They know that they should have scored on the last drive. Look for them to score here early. Look for them to take a shot. Back shoulder, Logan Tomlinson still there. Lepkowski over the middle. You got DJ running free. You want to get Caleb Berg back involved. Keep Joey involved. It's when you keep them involved. Not only are you keeping their interest engaged, but when guys know that there's a good chance they're going to get the ball, you run a route with more urgency. And the energy, or the ball finds energy, like we alluded to before. But he's going to spread it out here. Look for them to take a shot.
Rosemar 23 for 39, 254 through the air, and one touchdown to his credit. Brings a man in motion. It's Ron Morris, so fakes the give. Lauby gets it on first down. Met in the backfield by Junkaj, but is able to salvage a couple. That'll bring up about a 2nd and 9.
There's nothing like when you try and do the Tony Romo call. Oh, look for them to take a shot here, and then they just run power to the left.
You're quickly learning of the broadcaster's jinx.
Obviously my 2nd game.
Something I'm far too familiar with.
Still having fun.
That's all that matters, Ryan. No losers up here on the 4th floor. New Hampshire splits her on more so, and Logan Tomlinson near side. A tight end in the backfield in front of Brosmer. Brosmer evades the rush, takes a hit, fires downfield. Tomlinson snags it out of the air. He's got one man to beat, gives him a shove. Touchdown, UNH!
All right, I think I'm back. Let's go. Said it before the game. He's going to catch one. He's going to double down in the second half. It's not saying we called it up on the 4th floor, but what a play by Logan. Get off me.
Billy Hackett, the recipient of a stiff arm from the Wesleyan transfer, who's become one of the most reliable targets on this team.
Oh, look at Brosmer shifting in the pocket. He subtly dips his shoulder, giving him an extra split second to avoid that face side D end. And just layered it enough for Logan to break a tackle and score the touchdown. Cats are back on top. Keep the foot on the gas here. Don't stop. We're getting stops on defense, but just keep it going on offense. Rain it down. Get them out of here on homecoming.
With 11 and a half to play in this 3rd quarter, UAlbany took a 10-point advantage, 24-14, and just about 10 minutes later, New Hampshire has erased it and then some, taking a 7-point advantage with 1:11 to go in this quarter.
If you peep over a couple boosts to the right, Ed Borden, tight ends coach, he's up out of his seat. He's been glued to that thing, but they finally caught the break. Ed's out of his seat, I'm out of my seat. My dad back home, probably not out of his seat.
31-24, New Hampshire suddenly in command of this game, just as we saw early in the 1st quarter. Now it's just about hanging on. You got to make sure you don't allow those quick, early, big plays from UAlbany, which they've burned them on all 3 of their scores today.
He's just a football. You can just tell Logan loves the game. Not the fastest guy per se, but just has a knack for making plays. And again, I don't think he's done. I think they're going to try and go to him, see if he can get a hat trick out of this.
Fielded at about the 10-yard line. Not much room to work with, but second thought. He's got another burst of energy. It's Levi Wentz on the return back to Logan Tomlinson. I stopped by camp one day. I got there a little late, and our radio play-by-play guy, Justin McIsaac, he was there. I went and said hello to him, and he looked at me and he said, "This kid from Wesleyan is dominating everyone right now." He said he's lighting up the field that particular day in practice. And, Santos said in the offseason, there weren't, many days strung together where one side dominated the other because it was such a balanced team. But that particular day, it was Logan Tomlinson's day. He's certainly made it translate not only to the Division I level, but a high-level FCS school in New Hampshire as well.
Yeah, knowing people in that league, and that it was the NESCAC. When I found out that he transferred here, I hit up one of my buddies who played for Tufts, and I said, "Have you played this kid? Do you know anything about him?" And he said, "He's going to be really good." And you love to see it pan out. And again, we talked about earlier with the transfer portal, is UNH is commonly just fill the gap, fill the need. They don't build the culture on the transfer portal, but plug in a gap where you need. We need an extra guy out wide, just for more depth. And Logan can do it all. He can block, he can catch. He's been on some special teams. But when you need to make a big play, you need an explosive play. He's there to save the day.
It was Ryan Toscano who tipped the pass away on the last one for New Hampshire. Fake to give. Poffenbarger airs it out right side, complete down the right sideline to Julian Hicks.
Double move up top, hit Noah with a little hitch and go. That's a great play call, because usually you run those double moves in the corners and off coverage. They get them impressed, a little stutter and go. 2 yards of separation. That's a good throw and catch.
Albany's going to load up the left side here with 3 receivers. Faisal Aiden in the backfield. An increased workload for him this week as opposed to last week versus Towson. Dietz on the grab, nowhere to go. Quickly swarmed by Noah Palm, Brandon Perkins and company.
Again, they're trying to get the ball out wide. Noah Palm Derek Thompson filling the shoes for Oxidine, coming down, making the tackle. I'm not sure why they're still trying to go outside wide with the screen game, because the safeties for the Cats and Ryan Toscano, Zidane have done a great job wrapping and tackling, mitigating those yards after the catch.
2nd and 9 from the 48. And a man jumped on the New Hampshire D line. It looked like maybe Tim Bonagura. 2nd string D tackle in there. New Hampshire will quickly. Tim Bonagura, and as I was saying, New Hampshire promptly brings the starters back in with Silver, Ruiz, Capongo, and Politano.
You can usually know who the penalty's on when you watch the head coach and you see Coach Santos walk right up to Tim Bonagura and kind of give him an earful, but Tim knows that's a mistake, especially not being a starter consistently and kind of getting in there where he can. That's stuff that you can't have happen, but you know, Tim knows, and he's made some plays throughout this game.
3 quarters down, 1 to go. New Hampshire suddenly with a 7-point advantage here from Wildcat Stadium on a homecoming Saturday. We'll be back for the final 15 from Durham here on Flow Sports. Copy. Are we getting the graphic right away? Copy. The 4th quarter is underway from Wildcat Stadium. You see their starting quarterback, Max Brosmer, for the New Hampshire Wildcats. Let's take a look, Brian, at where he stacks up in the all-time passing yards list. You see him there at number 6, recently passing a guy that you played with, Trevor Knight. And, you know, you look at the 12,000 yards for head coach Ricky Santos, of course, former Walter Payton Award-winning quarterback for your New Hampshire Wildcats. And that 12,000 yards looks untouchable. But when you break things down, Brosmer averaging 317 yards coming into the game, on pace to throw 34, nearly 3,500 yards. That puts him firmly in 2nd place. And if he keeps at this pace, about 3,400 yards behind Santos. And Brosmer feels like he's been here forever, still 1 year of eligibility. And if he stays next year, opts to come back, opts to play, he's got a legitimate shot at catching a number that once seemed untouchable at 12,000 yards of Rick Santos.
It's a good sales pitch from Coach Santos' point of view to get Brosman to come back. It's like, oh, you want to come back? You can beat my record.
Yeah.
It's like, you think you can beat it? Come on back. But I'd be surprised if he took it elsewhere. I could see him wanting to finish what he started here, especially with those. Not that he's by no means a statistics guy, but if there's a chance that you can beat out Coach Santos, the greatest quarterback to ever lace it up at UNH for any stat, it's definitely a driving point for a quarterback.
Yeah, the next closest guy, R.J. Toman, 8,000 yards, more than 4,000 yards behind Santos, and Brosmer's got a chance at it. And before you say, well, Brosmer's been here forever, he's probably had, a million more games to pad the stats and add passing yards. It's really one extra game. That spring game you guys played here against Albany, threw for $128 that day. That's really the only extra game Brosmer has in there. The eligibility is legit, and he's got one more year to do it.
Yeah, he would probably be way higher up the list now.
Poffenbarger with a shot and an open man cut. Touchdown, UAlbany. Julian Hicks wins the track meet to the pylon and reeled it in.
Just got to get it running.
Let's see, it was Johnny Collins in coverage. Again, just outruns him to the pylon.
He's in a great spot. JC wants that ball to be thrown because he knows he should be on top shoulder, running with the receiver with his eyes to the quarterback. But he gets, you see it there. He gets too far inside. Should keep the sideline closer to his back, and he just loses sight of the receiver.
John Opalco lines up for the extra point to tie things up, and he does. And we'll take a break here as UAlbany once again, quick work and another big play from Reese Poffenbarger, and Julian Hicks ties this thing up. We'll see what New Hampshire answers back with on the other side. UAlbany ties things back up with a touchdown from that man right there, Julian Hicks. Brian, let's take a look at the touchdowns for UAlbany today. That one went for 32 yards to Julian Hicks. The one before, 38 yards to Brevin Easton. Before that, a 75-yarder back to Julian Hicks. And to start the scoring day for them, a 50-yarder to Brevin Easton, excuse me. So 4 touchdowns to those 2 guys, all 32 yards or more. That's been the difference for UAlbany today.
Yeah, Cam, they're just going to keep doing it until UNH shows that they can stop the big play. I think we're getting good push up front. We're getting good rush on the quarterback, and we're stopping the run okay. But at the end of the day, you got to stop the big play first, and that's been UNH's MO for the last X amount of years is stopping the big play and taking away the other team's best option. But they just got to take away over the top. They're stopping the run great. They're getting to the quarterback okay. Just got to take away the big play.
Kickoff is away. Again, they're avoiding Lauby. Caleb Meads had a heavy workload back there today, and he finds a seam up the sideline, runs straight through the kicker. Ori Jean-Charles can't bring him down, and he's suddenly across the 50.
Came in as a running back. I think I said it on the air last time on Caleb Mead's official visit. We were all out hanging with the new guys, and I remember he comes up and he was talking about his 40 time. I was like, oh yeah, I was like, think you're gonna play here? But yeah, good to see. I remember he said 4.4. I was like, all right. I was like, I run a 4.9, but I'm running right by it every time.
Running back turned quarterback, and he's really made a difference on special teams as well. A guy, Charles Briscoe, had a similar path. Wide receiver, tried him out at cornerback this offseason. Now he's really kind of a primary special teamer as well. New Hampshire not afraid to move some guys around. Brosmer, quick fire over the middle, finds Corcoran working laterally across the defense. Has a block, and he muscles his way up to the 24-yard line.
Classic Joe, point after the first down. Good bid by him. Great to see him getting after the catch. Well, you go back to Caleb Mead. When you recruit kids, you want every kid to be the home run guy, the guy that's your All-American, the guy that's jersey or retiring. But you look at guys like Caleb Mead, Jonathan Collins, all these guys who are doing the special teams, doing the dirty work. That's the stuff that we've nailed on recruiting-wise. We've been kind of undersized the last 10 years, but that hasn't been our MO. Our MO has been getting scrappy guys, team players, the Caleb Meads, the J.C. Collins, all these guys who are willing to do the dirty work, and the team is littered with them. And that's why our special teams is the best in the nation. That's why we're able to stop the run, because it's tough kids and just guys who are great role players, and you love to see the coaches recruiting that kind of kid.
A penalty negated that last big play from Corcoran. Brosmer fakes a few handoffs. Junkaj bearing down on him. He just has to float it into his own bench to avoid a sack from Junkaj and Simon. Again, I'll reiterate this. Anton Junkaj, the player we highlighted off the top, came into the day. 9 sacks leading all of FCS. AJ Simon, 7 sacks to his credit coming into the day, which was 3rd in FCS. And for Junkaj, not only was he 1st in the FCS, 2nd in all of Division I, trailing only Muhammad Kamara at Colorado State, and 3rd in all of college football at all 3 levels.
It's a great job on Michael Lucian, that played the strike linebacker.
Brosmer pitched to Lauby out in front, but since it was a forward pass and Lauby couldn't wrangle it, it'll go as incomplete.
For whatever reason, the last couple of years, I always thought that we had better momentum going away from the scoreboard, and that our offense kind of always stalled going toward the scoreboard for whatever reason.
Any rationale behind that, or just a feeling?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't have the answer either.
Sure. Sometimes you don't need one. Brosmer in the offense suddenly in a 3rd and 25 after what seemed like a big first down from Joey Corcoran. Brosmer quick out, back to Corcoran. Double teamed on the outside. Out of the first tackle and eventually teamed up and brought down at the 46.
That's a great 2 plays by Joe, but I am terrified by the way he's holding the ball.
A little too loose for you?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it. Brosmer quickly out to his left. Yeah, not really tucked up into the arm like you teach.
5 points of contact. If you go through a UNH football program, you know what the 5 points of contact are. We open up every offensive meeting with it every summer.
Sean Lehane punts it away. 4th and 17. 12:15 to play here in this 4th quarter. Fair catch back deep for Levi Wentz. It'll be Albany football from around the 12-yard line. Things tied up 31-31. Poffenbarger in the offense will come back onto the field, and Poffenbarger is 20 for 33 today, now up to 341 yards. New Hampshire's defense saw a lot of pressure early from those defensive ends. We've talked about a lot. Silver and Ruiz, so dynamite a season ago. Bit of a step back this year, haven't quite seen the production. They got a lot of pressure early. It slowed down through the midpoint of this game, but New Hampshire undoubtedly needs them now. Albany backed up on their own 13-yard line after the punt. Woodell in the backfield to Poffenbarger's left. They'll give it to him on first down. He's got open space, takes a block from Renninger, has the numbers on the outside. Noah Palm meets him with a shove out around the 28-yard line.
It's a great job by Renninger. You compared him to Lobby earlier when we talked about Lobby a bunch of times is the stair step, the way he's able to turn his head and shoulders and just keep riding that wave, sucking in the defender so he can kick out. You could see him do it 3 times on that run, and it's a very similar style of run.
And something Albany head coach Greg Gattuso said during the week is he doesn't love the running back by committee style, but that's what he's had to go with this year with Faisal Aiden, Griffin Woodell, and Nate Larkins. But Griffin Woodell seems to be emerging from the pack as the team's top guy again. A walk-on over the summer, has earned scholarship as a freshman. Poffenbarger, plenty of room, unloads. Julian Hickson just overshoots him. New Hampshire nearly burned once again.
They're going to keep coming back to that. They got the corner, Noah Stansbury on an island. And that's something that he's been great so far is covering the deep play and having a bunch of interceptions and PBUs in those plays, but just for whatever reason today they're just getting beat over the top. They put that on the money there. That's 6.
And if you're New Hampshire, it's tough because Brevin Easton and Julian Hicks have both been so dangerous with the deep ball. Do you start to shade coverage towards one of those guys to avoid one-on-ones like that?
Yeah, they already are, and that was one of the plays that they have, and I think they're going to come back to it right here. Yeah, again, dig over the middle.
Poffenbarger takes a hit as he unloads. Was looking for Levi Wentz. Again, overshoots him.
Josiah Silver. Again, you get one sack, you get him going, and then it's over from there. He's getting the crowd involved. He hits the quarterback on that play. He turns to the crowd, gets his arms going. He just lit this whole place up.
Josiah Silver only a half sack coming into the day. He's got 2 to his credit this afternoon, up to 3.5. Ruiz just the 1 sack on the season. Big third down here. 3rd and 10 from the 27. Twins on either side of the formation. Woodell in the backfield. One hands the snap is Poffenbarger. Here comes Zidane Williams to the party.
Great job by Zidane scraping off the edge of the stunt. He shoots out. Josiah Silver shoots over the middle. If he wasn't going to get there, JoJo was. That's a great play coming off the initial point of contact with a big sack. Get the ball back in the offensive hands. Great play by 10. Love to see him showing up. Hype man.
Williams, he beat freshman right tackle Nolan Latuli out of Ottawa. 6'7", but just 281 pounds. He's a bit lanky for a right tackle. And Zidane Williams beat him there with his speed and vision, something that the coaching staff loves about him and what's made the transition to safety so smooth. And even back when he was playing linebacker, it was obvious the athleticism was there, but the story Santos told us, I think it was prior to week 1 against Stonehill, was that in practice one day, Zidane Williams was running step for step with Haran Moriso, who probably is a case for fastest guy in the conference, one of the faster guys in the country. And Zidane Williams, he said he covered him no problem that day, was step for step with him.
Just like we talked about the D-line, having that luxury to sub it, guys in and out, that's the same thing you have at the linebacker position that we alluded to earlier. And it's so unique that you have it in being Zidane. Honestly, you could put Zidane, you could put a hand in the dirt on the outside. There's so much stuff he can do. And once he really hones in on what he's supposed to do and what he's mastering on a particular play that he knows he can make, like if he's coming off the edge for a blitz, you just saw it there. That's where he's at his best. You know, if you put him in a role, you can bounce him around. There's just plays that he's going to be made, especially on special teams too. You can really put him anywhere.
22 tackles in the season. That was his 2nd sack of his junior campaign.
They were nervous about him too, tackling in space too. That was probably the area that he needed to improve on most, moving out from linebacker. And could he tackle in space, especially being on that strike position with more open ground and open tackles to be required. But he's done a great job, lived up to it this season.
Refs will convene behind Brosmer and discuss something here. Not quite sure what. 10:42 to play. Here in the 4th quarter, Brian, we've got an all-new ball game. Let's see if head referee Jerry D'Angelo has anything to say.
For offsides.
No, it doesn't seem like it. Looks like
I'm having an awful day with that.
Asking how their days were.
Except the shot to Logan.
Brosmer and the offense take over. Give to Lauby on 1st down. Breaks a couple of tackles. Out for a gain of about 7, it looks like. Took a hit on the way down, but he looks all right. And Brian, 10.5 to play here in this one. 31-31. An all-new ball game. Throw everything out the window. Let's see who's going to come out on top here in the final 10 minutes. Lauby took a big hit there. Helmet to helmet on the way down. He looks okay. He'll stay in the game. Tomlinson, Burke, top of the screen. DJ Lincoln's at the bottom. Fake to Lauby, out to Tomlinson. Gliding to the right for a 1st down. Up to about the 43-yard line.
Mr. Reliable. Good toss in the RPO, take it easy 5 yards. If he did the Brian Espinette flop right there and went dead weight on the sideline, probably could have picked up a 15. They were pulling him out of bounds.
They should bring you in for some practices to teach that one. Rosemar with a fresh set of downs. Lauby in open space makes Dylan Kelly miss. Brought down for a gain of 8.
And people talk a lot about Dylan's stock. Is he going to have a chance to play at the next level? I think absolutely. Just because it's what more can you do? It's what more can you do? And they talk about a lot for the Patriots. It's just having the flexibility to do special teams, punt return, kick return. But coming out injured here and still making an impact is huge.
2nd and 2. Quick out to Lincoln. Circles back around. Has the 1st down. but not much more as Bill Hackett brought him down. DJ Lincoln's a relatively quiet day for him, just his second catch of the day. He had that 43-yarder that nearly went for a touchdown earlier. Logan Tomlinson's leading the way with 8 and 132 for New Hampshire. They'll get a timeout here, it seems. Each team heads to their bench. There's an injury down on the field. It was Bill Hackett who brought DJ Lincoln's down on that last play for New Hampshire.
I received an inquiry from the Peanut Gallery, aka my father, asking about what is on Joey Corcoran's helmet. I can't see it. Can you?
I saw it earlier.
Is it his mouthpiece?
It looks like his mouth guard, and the only reason I know that is because DJ Lincoln's, I think, often does the same thing where he just sticks it in the top of his helmet.
Oh, is that a thing?
And so apparently, I believe it's his mouthpiece. If we had a sideline reporter, I would undoubtedly ask them, but from up here, that is what it seems. Bill Hackett remains down with an injury, 9:01 to play. We have received confirmation it was a mouth guard, Mr. Espinette. Thank you for asking. Keep the questions coming. Again, 9:01 to play here in this fourth quarter, Brian. If you're New Hampshire, you're down here inside the 32-yard line, 1st and 10. What's your go-to action play or route? What's kind of your bread and butter here for New Hampshire inside the 30?
Well, first of all, you just made my dad's year. Just keep throwing the open access. They're getting easy looks to Logan Tomlinson, DJ Lincoln's on the outside. Cheap 5 yards. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give them an opportunity to come down and take a shot. Run game is starting to pick up a little bit with Dill. You're not going to get the explosion, the 30. You're probably not going to get an explosive play out of the run game right now. You can definitely chip away, but I think if you can chip away in the run game, just keep chipping away in the pass game. Albany's done a great job getting rid of some of the big plays over the top, but Max has been able to dice them up in the short game. So take what they give you. You got open access up top. Look for them to take the one-on-one matchups.
Brosmer with Lauby in the backfield. Takes the snap, looks left, fires to Tomlinson, tipped by A.J. Simon and nearly picked off.
Yeah, they went a cloud coverage right there. The DN's dropping and the right DN's dropping, and the left side safety's going to rotate to the middle, so it's almost just like a clock rotation of the defense. And Brosmer almost fell for the trap right there, but lived to play another down.
2nd and 10 from the 32. Give to Lauby on this one, bounces to his right. Dylan Kelly giving chase. He has the edge and dives for about 6 yards.
He was zooming on that play. They're looking to go a little bit. Hurry up here.
Gain of 5 officially for Lauby on that 3rd and 5 from the 27. Burke and Lincoln's bottom of your screen with Lepkowski in the slot.
Much Lepkowski on an option route.
Checks down to Tomlinson, has the first down and more down to the 16-yard line. Amir Hall on the tackle for Albany.
They got to keep feeding Logan too. He already has 2 touchdowns on the day, but you want that guy to pop off. And we talked about it earlier in the game, was you want that guy to have that 10 catches for 120 and 3 touchdowns. And he's got a great chance to do it here. They're going one-on-one top of the screen, unless they cloud rotate at the snap. But he should have a one-on-one for a back shoulder something here.
1st and 10 from the 15. 7:43 and counting. Give to Lauby, bounces left. Outrunning Larry Walker Jr. has the edge down to the 5 thanks to a block from who other than Joey Corcoran.
He's been a rock out there blocking 15, Joey Corcoran. We talked about it before the game last year. It was just beat him up in the run game, and he was a big part of that last year. I wasn't able to catch as many balls or run as many routes last year. I had to hammer him in the run game, but Joey picking that up too is great to see. He's been doing that his whole career.
Albany threatening blitz, they do. Fake the give, outside Tomlinson just on his back shoulder. They bring up 3rd down, just slightly off time by Brosmer and Tomlinson.
What do you think, hit him with the tush push here?
You might have to. Something we haven't, just about the only thing we haven't seen from this New Hampshire offense this season. We'll see. Rick Santos has got it up his sleeve, and Brian Scott, the offensive coordinator. Brosmer under center. Tomlinson, the only receiver, split out to the left. Lauby deep in the backfield. Tomlinson in the backfield in motion. They were looking for him. In for the touchdown, Colby Ramshaw. Second touchdown on the season for the Londonderry native. New Hampshire back on top.
Luxury again at the tight end position. A lot of attention on Tomlinson, flowing out to the right, trying to go for touchdown number 3. What a great job by Ramshaw, finding the open spot, see it in. Got to get a stop now here.
Mazie teeing up the extra point. It holds true, and New Hampshire up 7. Once again, 38-31. 7 minutes to play here from homecoming Saturday in Wildcat Stadium. One final look at the Colby Ramshaw touchdown for New Hampshire. We'll be back on the other side.
At Kenny Bank Savings, commitment to our communities is at the heart of why we do what we do. Businesses, individuals, organizations, we all depend on each other. When we help our neighbors buy a home, open a business, or save for their some days, we're able to pledge 10% of our earnings to nonprofits who share our belief in supporting our communities. Because when our communities thrive, we all thrive, and that is our purpose. So how can we help you? Kenny Bank Savings, purpose-driven.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped me get to the first day at my career, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from my service helped me buy my first home. And I take pride knowing I will be the first to respond if my community ever needs me. To learn more, visit nationalguard.com.
We're the team behind your team and your school. We're also the team our customers rely on. Wherever things are getting done, powered up, and made better with Caterpillar equipment in the Northeast, you'll find Milton Cat, the team prepared for every challenge. Milton Cat, always ready.
Brand new ball game in Wildcat Stadium. New Hampshire on their feet. Wildcat Stadium follows suit as New Hampshire fresh off a touchdown from the Londonderry man Colby Ramshaw, the former walk-on, now earning his keep in the Wildcats locker room. We'll take a quick look around the league. The only game that's gone final so far, Villanova 21-0 shutout over the Elon Phoenix. Those two teams now tied with a 3-1 conference record after that outcome. Rhode Island, Richmond, Maine, LIU, and Monmouth, Hampton also underway. Recently underway, Delaware, NC A&T, and Stony Brook facing off against the Fordham Rams. Those are 3 p.m. kickoffs, those last two. Nick Mazie swings and sends it away. A fair catch at the 7-yard line by Brevin Easton, and Albany will set up at the 25-yard line.
I'm sorry. One of my favorite things about coming to these games, especially as a fan, is whether it's in the fourth quarter or late in the third quarter, is when I don't know what song they just played, but then Casey DeAndre just looks at the entire crowd and gets everyone going. I started jumping up in the booth. he just what a great addition he was, getting Coach DeAndre back from Holy Cross, captain back in 2016, 2-time All-American. Probably one of the best young coaches, I think, in the FCS. He's going to be a great D coordinator somewhere on my short list of high-quality people. He is certainly on. He's just done a great job with the secondary. It hasn't shown much today, but through and through, this secondary has been a great addition or a great part of this team because of Casey.
Casey DeAndre, defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator. Griffin Waddell breaks free for a handful of yards before Stansbury delivers a big hit.
That was
Zidane Williams, you're right.
He got shaken up on that too.
He's up and he looks all right, shaking it off. Let's get another look right here. Just came in from the outside, helmet to helmet. Again, no launching or targeting or anything of the sort, just a hard hit. 2nd and 5 for UAlbany from their own 30-yard line. They'll bring Ian Renninger in motion, the tight end. Poffenbarger. Here comes Josiah Silver around the near side. Gliding to his right, has a man, caught, completed to Marquise Dietz for a first down, but there is a flag in the backfield with a UAlbany offensive lineman pleading his case. 2 flags actually down in the backfield. Going against freshman center Sean Duggery. The freshman took over for grad student Scott Hausman, who was the leader of that offensive line. He went down with a knee injury against Morgan State. It's been Duggery ever since, and the freshman got caught there. Second and 15 from the 20. Woodell in the backfield, Hicks near side. 3 receivers split to the top, and Woodell in motion.
Got to go get him here. Ole Manzik making the call.
Zach Guerin quickly into the backfield, out to the left and completed. Did he get his feet down? Yes, he did, says the far side official. Levi Wentz with the first down.
You might not see it on the TV here, but Zidane Williams is he's the flat defender right there. His hips and his eyes are facing square towards the quarterback. If he opens his hip more towards the flat, he has a better chance to run laterally towards the football. Yeah, you're going to see it here. He's facing towards the quarterback, giving the opportunity for Poffenbarger to lob it over top of him. If he was open his hips, he could run with that ball, potentially bat it away.
Quickly out to the right, a high throw to Marquise Dietz. Gets out of the first tackle. Williams, the next one to meet him and bring him down. Marquise Dietz looks like he wanted some sort of a late hit, unnecessary roughness on Zidane Williams, but no call. Bring up about a 2nd and 3.
Good hustle by Derek Thompson, making him redirect. Probably you got to make that tackle there solo. But if you don't make the tackle, it's just like covering a punt. Take your shot, redirect the runner, and let help come. Help them get there soon enough.
Marquise Dietz, one of those guys who came over from ODU with Poffenbarger and Levi Wentz. Fake the give to Woodell. Ole Manzik can't twirl him to a stop. He somehow gets out of it. And a big sack for New Hampshire.
Homecoming Ole.
Tim Boniger, I believe, was in there to finish the job. Ole Manzik with the big neck roll, can't swirl him to a stop, almost got a fumble on it.
Santos Coach Santos trying to get the crowd into it. Smells blood in the water. Ole 2019 homecoming was National Defensive Player of the Year. Still making plays. That's got to be his day. It's probably because all the alums come to town, fires Ole up. Can't blame him.
Against Elon, correct?
Yes,
Do I
sir.
have that right? Yeah, Ole Manzik, a true freshman in 2019, was dynamite in the middle of that defense with a storied program, had a lower body injury before coming back and then having to get back surgery. They had to slowly work him back into the rotation. Worked scout team week 1 against Stonehill. He's now fully integrated back into the rotation. And it's great to see Ole Manzik making plays once again.
Yeah, he wasn't sure if he was going to come back, wasn't sure if his body would allow him to.